And you'll be able to hear this game live here on the Poppies TV audio. Well, with me this afternoon is commentator, cameraman, jack of all trades, I suppose, really now, presenter as well,
Cheers,
Matt
Paul.
Spearman.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. Yeah, well, after Tuesday night, it's going to be interesting to see how Kettering get on today. It's 4-4. I think, some of us are still recovering from what actually happened on Tuesday. It was a seesaw game, as commentator Ed announced, the battle of the seesaw, and it really was, back and forth, and then that sucker punch right at the end. It almost felt like a defeat for Kettering, didn't it?
It did, didn't it? I mean, 8 goals, 2 penalty misses, a goal disallowed, controversy. It had everything, didn't it? So it was a great game. We're going to see some of the goals. You've probably seen them on our highlights package, and also and also we had apparently there was one thing that was a bit controversial. Let's see what you think about this one. It was the hit in the face on Michael Richens.
Yeah.
Marcus Law said at the time the referee didn't see it, and then he said that he did, but having reviewed it again, he said he didn't. But it was certainly a blow to Richens, wasn't it?
Certainly, and the thing is, that happened really early on in the game as well. I almost wonder, was that a target? Was that something they know he's someone who sometimes reacts. He's been sent off in the past. He picks up cards. Was it almost, get him on the ground early on and then sort of affect his game from there? And if you affect your captain's game, is that going to affect the rest of the team as well? You wonder, is that almost a tactical choice, something they've done there, something they've highlighted, and maybe from scouting how Kettering play as well. How Redditch played, it was a different style. They seemed to run at Kettering, and I think our defence actually struggled with that on Tuesday night. The pace Redditch had, the height they had, really affected this. I mean, it's fortunate, Kettering going forward know where the goals are, but that's 7 goals now they've conceded at home the last 2 games. It's 6 goals high. That's something they've got to tighten up for today's game.
Well, Kettering did take the lead through Aaron O'Connor. It was good work on 18 minutes 40 minutes in fact, by Dion Kelly-Evans. I think he crossed.
That's right, yeah, great
cross.
cross.
By Ben Milnes and put into the net on the 6-yard box by Aaron O'Connor, who was lurking around there, giving Poppies a dream start, really. Everybody thought then, they'll settle down. It'll be a roller coaster of a victory for Kettering, and hoping to get points ahead of Stourbridge. But that wasn't to be. They found themselves 2-1 down very, very quickly after that, and we had to get an equaliser through it. The man, Kelly-Evans, later. It was a great goal as well.
Certainly was, yeah. Kettering got that early goal, and you just think, well, did they sit back too much there? And then there was that sucker punch of 2 quick goals for Redditch. Great character though from Kettering to get back 2-2, and it was a lovely cross into the area. Good teamwork again, and Redditch, they had plenty of players back in that penalty area. So for that cross, which I thought was overhit from Gary Storer, found Kelly-Evans at the back post, and he did a great job just slotting that in, and get Kettering back 2-2 in the game. And
Storer not in the starting lineup today. We'll give you the line-outs a bit later. Well, we had a penalty. It was a penalty missed first of all by I think it was their number 10 that took this. It was a brilliant save though from Paul White.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the players done too much wrong there with the penalty. He's certainly gone up, got a fair bit of pace to it. He's placed the shot, he knows where to put it, and Paul White, he's tall enough to outstretch and make a great save there.
Whittingham, I think, was the guy that missed the penalty. He caused Kettering problems all night, but he couldn't put them 3-1 ahead, and it got to the stage where Kettering were 3-2 down at half time before the Dan Holman-Goldman show came on in the second half with this. First of all, this header.
Yeah, certainly a great free kick there, and he's got himself on the. He's got his head onto the ball. He's connected well to it there, and fortunately for Kettering, they've got someone at the back post as well, just in case. But great goal again, and already we've seen the benefits of seeing him in the starting 11, and he knows where the back of the net is.
Of course, that goal, the equaliser, came not long after Rhys Honus probably put one of the worst penalties of all time down for Kettering.
Awful,
if you've seen the highlights package, you'll see it. We won't be watching it again for a little while. I don't want to see it again, but he certainly didn't drill that one, and it was a case really of, is that it? But Kettering got back to 3-0 with Holman, and then amazingly took the lead with a fantastic goal.
Well, that's it. I mean, as I said, he's someone who's been around at this, a high level, knows where the back of the net is. questionable about the goalkeeper here. You know, he's come off his line really early and backpedaling as Holman puts that ball over the top of him. I mean, it's a well-placed pass, you could say. You know, he's not even had a shot there. He could easily have, you know, kept that down, but he's volleyed it over the top of him. And again, you know, Kettering's got someone following that up as well, just in case. So, yeah, good teamwork, good awareness. And, yeah, great to see him with another goal there.
Well, that was on 81 minutes when Kettering went 4-3 ahead in a seesaw game, and everybody thought that would be it, but there was more drama to follow as the referee added on 5 minutes of added time, and in that 5th minute of added time, the last corner of the game, virtually the last kick of the game, and the visitors Redditch equalised with Kettering asleep, defending really. Marcus Law was furious. But there we are, it ended 4-4, and as you said, it sounded like a defeat, but it was a draw, and an exciting draw. I think we had a 4-4 draw against Redditch at Redditch in 2006-07 season.
Certainly. So, yeah, as I said, fair play to Redditch. They came, they played for the whole game as well. They didn't sort of crumble while they were behind, and fair play to them for, you know, continuing to play for the whole game. Something Kettering just need to remember, you know, play to the full whistle. And as I said, in them last few minutes, the 5 minutes of injury time, Kettering seemed to just think, you know, the win was there.
Indeed so. So if you've not seen those highlights, you can see those on the Poppies TV website, www.thepoppies.online. And you also can see it on our YouTube channel. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. We've got 870 at the moment. We need 1,000 to start earning money. So we're only 130 away. So if you're not chipped on there, please click onto it. It doesn't cost anything. We just need to get subscribers. And the reason being is, really, we want to try and earn some money from YouTube, as we've been stopped from streaming live. And I just want to reiterate about that. We've had some questions in the week. Why aren't we screening these games live anymore, especially on Tuesdays when the FA told us to stop streaming as well, if they're mad as we are, but streaming on Saturdays. The reason is because as we can't do it on a Saturday, the platform we put in place to do all this information, our platform has been taken down. It costs too much and isn't cost effective with no revenue coming in at the moment. So unfortunately the FA have shafted us to a certain extent. No income revenue coming in, and we can't really afford to do it without that income revenue. So that's why we do the the audio live and the highlights packages later. It's a shame, and I fully appreciate everybody that says they miss seeing it live as we do producing it. I know there's people all over the world that did tune in to see the games, can't do that. They can still hear it, of course, but it isn't quite the same, but completely out of our hands. I can only advocate, if you do want to complain about that, please write into our chairman, who can then put it onto the FA and see if anything can be done. But there we go. We can't do it live. A, on Saturdays because the FA won't let us, and B, on Tuesdays and midweek because we can't afford it. And basically, that is it. Well, today we're going to play St Ives Town, who have had a seesaw season. They've played 16, they've won 4, drawn 4, lost 8. They're in 17th position on 16 points. The last game that they won, we have to go back to Hales Owen a couple of weeks ago, but prior to that, they've only won once, and that was against, where are we, right down against Royston away, which was a very good result.
That's a great result for them, yeah, to go to, you know, it's a fairly local game for them as well, very, you know, competitive against Royston, and to go there and get 3 points, that's a great result for them. But yeah, as you said, it's, you know, they've had a difficult season. They're a team who, you know, we seem to do fairly well against them, but there's always one or two players who sort of you remember. There's a few in the starting lineup for them today who will be difficult for Kettering, and you know, we've got to be we've got to be ready right from the start. And yeah, that's great scoring early goals like we did on Tuesday night, but you've got to see the whole game through as well, and you know, that is vital for today.
Some of those players that we mentioned, Ben Baker, of course, ex-Kettering Town, he starts for St Ives today, as does Monash Sundyer. Had a couple of outings for Kettering. They also have Jake Newman, who scored and was sent off last week. He's suspended for today. And Dubiel Bonner, named anonymous with Kettering. He's still with St Ives, but he's injured. and isn't with the squad. Last season, the Pops did the double over the Ives, winning 4-1 here at Latimer Park, and a 4-3 thriller at Westwood Road. Hopefully not another throttle, my heart can take it, but we shall see. We are 3 points clear of Stourbridge with 2 games in hand, and 14 points clear of third place AFC Rushden and Diamonds. There are a few fixtures to look out for this afternoon. Biggleswade against Alvechurch are in 4th place. Leiston against Rushden and Diamonds, that's 3rd against 5th. Royston, who are in 6th place against Needham Market, and St Neots are at home against Stourbridge. So there's some good games this afternoon, of course, and we are hopefully that they all go in our favour, which I would doubt. But
well, they didn't really go far favour on Tuesday night, did they? With Stourbridge, their game kicking off a little later than scheduled, and it didn't help with them to score, that really late goal there as well, which we would have been happy with them drawing on Tuesday night, with ourselves drawing, but unfortunately we can't dictate what other teams do elsewhere, and we need to focus and concentrate on what we're doing with our football. As
you can see there on the screen, maybe if it is on the screen, we've got the team lineups, but we'll just go through team lineups if you want to. Matt, Kettering channel read like this.
So yeah, in goal, number 1 is Paul White, number 2 Darrell Berry, number 6 Michael Richards, also captain today, number 7 Lyndon Meikle, number 8 Aaron O'Connor, number 9 Dan Holman, number 11 Rhys Honez, number 12 Dion Kelly-Evans, number 14 Marcus Kelly, number 16 Luke Graham, and number 18 Nathaniel Rowe Turner. And on the bench for the Poppers this afternoon, number 3 Ben Tosland, number 4 Brett Solcombe, number 5 Gary Storer, number 10 Ben Milnes, and number 15 Declan Towers. So a few changes from what we saw Tuesday.
3 changes, isn't there, since Tuesday night, but nothing to injury, I suppose. Towers has been playing with a little injury. I think he's probably been rested for this game so far, but it's still a very strong lineup. I did see James Brighton out there also warming up, so he's getting back to some kind of fitness, and not sure when he'll start out again, but with Borg leaving to go to St Neots, it paves the way for Brighton to come back in the side.
Yeah, certainly, and he's one of them players who we've seen play in many positions. He's great getting forward, he's good at defending as well, and
been out for a year though. How's
it's
that
a long time, and you know what, it's going to take a long time for him to actually get back into any sort of form, which we saw in that season where he pretty much took all or many of the awards at the end of the season awards ceremony. But he's someone who, it's great to see that he's still been here at the club. He's been on the bench, has been in the crowd, is still attending games, and that's passion for him, and that's great commitment from him as well. And let's hope that there'll be a place for him once he's fully fit, and he'll be able to make that impact. Great free kick taker, great on that left side of the pitch. Let's see how he merges with some of these players which he hasn't played with before as well.
Yep, St Ives town. For any St Ives people that are listening today, or fans should I say, listening this afternoon, read like this. In goal is Martin Conway, 2 Ben Jackson, 3 Charlie Dieth, 4 Monash Sundire, 5 Sam Cartwright, 6 Jarvis Wilson, 7 ex-Poppy Ben Baker, 8 Robert Parker, 9 Oliver Snaith, 10 Danny Kelly, and 11 the dangerous Ben Seymour Show. Their subs today are 12 Joe Hood, 14 Owen Wallace, 15 new signing Ty Ward, 16 Dylan Wilson, and 17 George Bailey. Wasn't George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life?
Possibly.
Wasn't that It's a Wonderful Life, George Bailey? Yeah. Have you seen the film?
No. Pass.
It is Christmas after all. Come on, get in with us.
Oh, there's plenty of time.
Bedford Falls. You've got to watch. They've not seen that film. You've got to watch that. It is a good film, believe me. But there we go. We're back here, as I say, at Latimer Park. Let's hope the Kettering can continue their superb form. As Matt said, it did seem a bit like a loss in that 4-4 draw. I was speaking to Gary Storer after the game, and he said that they really want to get back to putting things right on the pitch. They'd felt that they let everybody down on Tuesday by underperforming. Is that how you saw it?
Yeah, I think too many players probably had an off day. You're right if you have 1 or 2 players who don't perform to their full potential, but unfortunately we had a few key players who struggled. I think marking was an issue. I think sort of just concentration levels for some of them players as well disappeared. But the good thing for Kettering is they get to play again, very close to that draw on Tuesday at home as well. And if we get a win today, then we'll be forgetting about what happened on that Tuesday night, and hopefully be celebrating 3 points come 5 o'clock tonight.
Well, December is a busy month for the Poppies. We're playing St Ives today on Tuesday the 4th, all being well, Barwell at home in the City Security Services Challenge Cup.
That's a good
third round at home against Barwell. On Saturday, a week today, we're here again against Lowestoft Town, our first ever meeting in the league format against Lowestoft. In fact, first meeting, I think, since 1986-87, and will be only the fourth meeting in our history. The other two came in the FA Cup in the 1960s. Saturday 15th of December, we're away at Banbury United. We're back here on the 22nd, just prior to Christmas, against Hitchin Town. On Wednesday 26th, that's Boxing Day, is at Bedworth United, and we're waiting to see if it's going to be a 1 o'clock kickoff or a 3 o'clock kickoff. We are getting confirmation of that hopefully today. We'll get that on the social media outlets, let everybody know, but it could be a 1 o'clock kickoff depending on how negotiations go between the two clubs. And then on the Saturday the 29th, another big game against Kings Lynn Town, rejuvenated Kings Lynn Town. We've beaten them twice this season in the league, 2-1 and a 5-1 thrashing in the League Cup. I love saying that against Kings Lynn. Thrashing against Kings Lynn. I'm sure there will be a difficult nut to crack. And then we've got two games in January straight away on the 1st and the 7th against Rushden and Diamonds, AFC Rushden and Diamonds, and Tamworth. So it's some really busy big games, and also dependent on, of course, the weather.
That's true as well. Yeah, some vital games there, and this is when we need to be ensuring that we've got a full squad, full strength, no suspensions. Every player's got their duty to play, over this period, and it's going to be, they're difficult games there. As you say, away to Kings Lynn, we struggled last season towards the end of the season when we went there, and we seem to be we'll be playing them when they seem to be getting some form, and they've certainly gone up the table. So
last week they drew 0-0 against Bedworth, didn't they? So that was quite a shock really in many respects. But certainly since Ian Culverhouse has returned to the walks, Kings Lynn's fortunes have improved, and they could well become a threat just outside the playoffs at the moment. And Kettering, of course, with a very, very good goal difference, 22 goals, and the next one is 15, so they're doing quite well then. Of course, Kettering have only played 15 games compared to Stourbridge and Diamonds 17, Alchurch 14, Leaston 15, and Royston 15, and of course Kettering sort of 14 points clear of Royston, who they beat a couple of weeks ago 1-0, and signalled a very good period for Kettering. Marcus Law did say to me a little while ago that on 15 games he wanted 40 points. And he said that would make a massive statement. 38 points isn't bad, is it? Yeah,
it's not far off a target, which is great. Obviously, he's pinpointed, certain games which are going to be more difficult than others, and I'm sure he was hoping for the 3 points on Tuesday instead of the 1 point. But we can't complain. That's great form, and we've just got to make sure that defence again stays nice and tight, and ensure that Paul White isn't tested too much today.
Well, goals are certainly no problem for Kettering. Scored 34, second highest in the league, just behind Stourbridge on 36. Goals coming from everywhere. A leading goal scorer is Rhys Honus, although the league say he's got 8. He's in fact got 7. They credited an O'Connor goal, I think, to him. Okay. But it was definitely an O'Connor goal. But he has 7 goals. Marcus Kelly in second place with 6. And then Dan Goldman, we'll call him, he's next on 4. Solken, who is the leading goal scorer, but he's only on 3 league goals. His total is 11 for the season. Then you've got Meikle and Milnes, O'Connor and Dion Kelly Evans totaling 3 goals. So they're coming from all over the place, which is good, not relying on one person. But it is nice to see O'Connor and Holman forging a good partnership.
Yeah, certainly. Great to see. Obviously, we lost Matty Stevens at the end of the season, and there was questions about, who would fill that gap, and unfortunately we had Aaron O'Connor with his injury as well. But it's good to see that the goals are coming from the team throughout, and it seems like O'Connor and, as you say, Holman seem to have linked up quite well, and I'm sure, as they get more used to each other, their style and how the team plays, then hopefully we'll see a few more goals for them. Obviously, Honez could have scored another on Tuesday night, but with that penalty miss, which very unlike him, because actually his penalties have been pretty decent this season.
Talking of penalties, Kettering have been awarded 13 this season. They've scored 11 but missed the last 2, so the curse is back. Brett scored 7, only 2 of those in the league, and Rhys has scored 4, all in the league. They've both missed 1 each, Solken against Stamford and Rhys against Redditch on Tuesday night. So there we are. We've conceded 5. Of those 5 conceded, Paul White saved 2 of those. and one against Kings Lynn in the Cup, and that brilliant save against Redditch on Tuesday night. Paul White also must say that he's got 10 clean sheets in 22 games, 8 of those in the league. He has 34 clean sheets in 93 games and comes in at 4th place since 1979 in the clean sheet list, behind Kevin Shoemaker on 54, Lee Harper on 51, Ian Bowling and Adam Sollop both on 35. And before anybody asks, the record is held by Gordon Livesey, who had 91 clean sheets, but he did play 315 games, so that's almost 1 in 3 for Gordon Livesey. Remarkable statistics there for all of those goalkeepers, and just shows you how vital Paul White is to this side.
Certainly, he seems to be in some great form at the moment. There was a great save against Royston a couple of weeks ago as well, and you know he's grown as the couple of seasons have gone. He seems to be more commanding now. I think he's got a bit more support from backroom staff. Players are getting to know him, his style. Kicking seems to be improving as well. You know, all round he seems to be becoming quite.
Since James Algirl returned, isn't it? Really, James Algirl did leave Kettering last season, and but since James has been back, it seems that Paul has been put through his paces more, and it's certainly reaping the benefits with some brilliant saves. I mean, the save at Royston and the save against Stourbridge down here were fantastic, weren't they?
Certainly,
that save against Redditch penalty, another one on top draw save. So luckily Paul White in good form, and let's hope he's not called into action this afternoon against the St Neots side, as I say, that are in 17th position. Always dangerous against Kettering. I remember going, was it 3-0 down over there? And
certainly, yeah.
We got back to win 4-3.
I think it was at Spencer Weir Daily.
He came back, and it was a fantastic evening, and hopefully we're not going to go through one of those thrillers, but if we win 1-0, then that is fine as far as I'm concerned. Just so you know that in the future on Poppy's TV, we're going to have guest Kyron Wilson, who is a top snooker player from Kettering. He's going to pop in and see us. We'll let you know when that is. His schedule is quite tight at the moment, but I've been in contact with him, and he wants to come on Poppy's TV. And do you know that he was a ball boy once at Rockingham Road, and is a big Kettering Town fan?
Brilliant. You know, actually, we seem to be quite lucky with snooker players at the moment, or darts players. We, you know, Kettering have got a good wealth of sportsmen, and it's just great to see them on top form at the moment. I know John Dunham's very busy at the moment, reporting on how all these are doing. Today. Exactly. Where is it?
On a Saturday, he's off.
Unbelievable.
What's all that about?
Not professional.
Not professional. I mean, crikey.
But yeah, no, he's certainly he's being kept busy at the moment with all these massive reports coming in, and obviously in football's terms as well. You know, a lot of the Northamptonshire teams, non-league teams, seem to be doing fairly well in their leagues as well. So keep them busy.
As I say, we're going to have Kieran Wilson in. We've had Ricky Evans in, and we had Tim Flowers in a season or so ago. And any of you watched Match of the Day last night saw him and his Solihull team draw 0-0 with Blackpool.
Yeah.
Tim was very good when he came on. We're trying to get James Ancaster on, but so far no luck. He went to get in contact with us at the moment, but we'll try and bring you all the Kettering Town stars that we can. Charlie Hall, if we can get her on. And
yeah, we certainly had a fair
see
few.
How we go there. But those are all things for the future in the new year. And but we're back here now, really before Christmas. It's hotting up nice. Don't want to bring Christmas into it too much. I know it's December the 1st today. The advent calendar has been
I was
opened.
expecting you to have your jumper on today, actually.
Get out. Don't do things like that on here. We will do well.
We've got evidence, haven't we?
We do have evidence on one game before, don't we? I think you've got one on with some reindeers on, so we can.
Not as bad as someone else, Mr. Doyle.
Yes, we'll that ought to have an X rating, really, didn't it, Mr. Doyle, with his apparition that he was wearing? But hopefully that won't happen again. But you never know.
Hopefully,
Mr. Doyle might come on and blind us with his Christmas jumper, but that won't be until Hitchin, which is around the 22nd of December. Of course, all these matches we are planning ahead. Of course, it depends on what sort of weather we get.
Yeah, the pitch. You know, Tuesday night, I thought it looked good. We had a fair bit of rain since now, this morning, and it's going to be heavy going. You know, I reckon we're going to see a few players falling over, and hopefully they won't wreck the pitch too much. Again, a big game on Tuesday night in the Cup. Another game next Saturday as well. It's going to be interesting. This is the point now where we have to see how well this pitch holds up. The last thing Kettering want are postponements, especially when they get into some form as well, to then go a vast amount of time without games. It seems to happen every few seasons, and then we sort of seem to struggle. Fitness goes slightly, you know, players lose their match form, and then we come up against some of the big teams, and it's not an advantage really for Kettering. So many teams in this league now with artificial pitches who most of the time can continue, although we do know of Merthyr last season when they had a game cancelled even though they had a 3G pitch due to it being waterlogged. So, you know, they're not all invincible, but for some of them teams, you know, it helps them. They're allowed to be consistent, whereas, you know, in the past we've had a few issues. So let's hope over this Christmas period it might be a mild one, and we'll get all our games played without any rearranged games. Indeed,
we've got 7 games in December. 4 of those are at home, starting the day against St Ives. The teams will be out in a few minutes. We'll be going upstairs to join our commentary team. I'm not quite sure who's up there at the moment, along with who is up there at all at the moment. It could be anybody at the moment, so we'll take that as we can. I think Ed Palmer will be one of the commentators, and we'll take that from there. Forecast, though, weather-wise, is snow as from Tuesday in certain parts of the country, Matt, so I don't want to dispel what you just said about a mild December. I hope you're right. But this time last year, if the pitches, we were saying on Tuesday, that game would have been called off on Tuesday. The drainage is working very well, isn't it? The ground staff and people there have done a remarkable job.
Every season the pitch seems to improve, and as you said, Tuesday night we would have struggled with it.
Right, we're going to head upstairs in a few moments. Matt Spearman's going to get back onto the camera. The players are in the tunnel. We're going to be with you in a few moments. Let's look, St Ives not out of the tunnel yet, but I'm going to hand you over in a few moments to at least to start off with. Hopefully Gary Foreman's there, but if not, it's going to be Ed Palmer to talk you through this, and we'll see you at half-time. Kettering Town, the Poppies against St Ives Town, the Saint, and it's live here on Poppies TV Audio.
The players are in the tunnel, and we are ready at a slightly warmer Latimer Park. Still not by any means warm, but warmer than it has been for Kettering versus St Ives. I think a lot of people will just take a nice easy 1-0 today rather than the 4-alls and 4-2s that we've had of previous games, but out come the teams, and this is interesting. Kettering playing in their home strip of red and black, and St Ives in a lovely orange number with their goalkeeper in a very bright blue as well. Joining me, as he has done for the past couple of games, Mr. Gary Foreman. How are we?
Very good, thank you, Ed. Very good. Very much looking forward to this afternoon's game. What are we going to get after Tuesday night? What are we going to get?
Well, I've said it's going to be about 7-6 because it's only just going to keep going up. 7-6, 7-7. But it's I think we will just take a nice, easy, comfortable 1-0. I think. But the handshakes have been done, and we are just waiting for the mascots to make their way off and the teams to do their final warm-ups, as Kettering like to do on this touchline as per usual with their cones. As the teams are being read out. We'll go through those again in just a moment. Of course, like you say, Kettering coming off the back of a 4-all draw that felt a little bit like a loss, didn't it?
Yeah, last minute 1 minute equaliser is going to hurt. But I think today for Kettering, the question that I want to see answered is, was that defensive performance a blip? Like the previous performances have suggested it should be. And for St Ives, what kind of team we're going to get? So they made a decent start to the season. They then went on a 8-match losing streak, and they've steadied the ship with a win and a draw in the last 2 games. So I think there's a question for St Ives to answer, as well as a question for Kettering to answer. So intriguing.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, we did see on Tuesday Kettering changed the formation up a little bit. Not too sure why that was, but they went to a 3/5 at the back, and it just didn't work, did it? Redditch had absolutely, especially in the first half, just ran through the defence like they weren't there. There were gaps the size of, oceans in between the Kettering back 5. By the looks of the team sheet, it's going to be a more conventional 4 That I don't know whether it was the scouting that led to Marcus making that change, whether he felt that something wasn't working at the 4 that he wanted to try in the 3/5. But it certainly didn't work, whatever they were trying.
No, it did work first half. To be fair, he kept the 5 at the back for the second half, and until they had that header from the corner at the end, they didn't trouble us. So I think it's fair to say he put a lot of things right at half time, but most of the damage, of course, had already been done at that point. And, you know, I'm a big believer it's not so much about formations, it's about players doing their job. And unfortunately, on Tuesday night, they didn't do their defensive jobs. And that would have been the case whether they're playing 4 at the back, 5 at the back, 7 at the back, or 1 at the back. So, as you say, today, probably going to be more orthodox as a back 4. Roturner as left back, Jarrell Berry and Luke Graham as centre halves, and Kelly Evans on the right hand side. And about to get underway.
Yep, so Rhys Honus is over the top of the ball, and he's got us underway for this first half. First game of a busy December for Kettering, and it comes at home for St Ives on a pitch that is starting to show the wear and tear of having a few games on it in the wet weather we've had over the past couple of weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. Kettering, of course, still have 2 games on this pitch to come in the next 2 games as well. One in the League Cup on Tuesday, then of course next weekend here at home to Lowestoft. So, you know, this pitch might take a bit of a battering. They have got a little bit of a respite after that, but we'll see how it cuts up. St Ives have a throw in on the far side, flick down towards the corner flag. Roturner's there using his strength. It's just being kept in, but it's been given at the expense of a throw in going Kettering's way. But it'll be interesting to see how Kettering respond, like we say, to those defensive frailties that happened on Tuesday. They have gone to a more conventional back 4, as we've seen in previous games in the past couple of weeks, which worked very well for them. Throw in taken long by Roturner down the line. Missed by everyone, takes a bounce, then nodded back by St Ives. Then Richens goes down, shouts, gets the free kick from the referee. And Kettering have got a free kick about 20 yards inside their own half. Could be interesting, this one, if once the mud starts coming in. These kits, although 2 distinct colours, are quite close to each other, the orange and the red. If there's quite a bit of mud on a few players' backs, it could distort some vision for the referee.
Yeah, it's I mean, sometimes normally black and white, aren't they? So you would have expected it, although I suppose the black in Kettering strip might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, as Richens heads that ball forward, Holman keeps it on and smashes it against the number 5 for a corner. That was a good flick on from Michael Richens and a good run from Dan Holman. He picked up 2 goals on Tuesday, the second of which was arguably in the top 2 goals that we've seen here this season.
It was a sublime finish, I have to say, having looked at it again on the highlights. Sublime.
It was so cheeky, but here comes Marcus Kelly, puts the ball in, Holman's underneath it. Oh, it's bounced up, it came off the St Ives defender, I think the number 2, and the goalkeeper clutches it gratefully into his arms. It took a horrendous bobble as it hit off the ground again, went to bowl it out to that number 2, but thinks better of it. And then drop kicks it away. Dion Kelly Evans nods the ball back. No Kettering player underneath it though, but St Ives have it back out with their number 3. Kelly Evans blocks again, puts the ball high up towards Holman. It has gone really high, and Holman forces the number 5, who he's already had a one-on-one battle with so far this game, to head it out for a throw-in halfway inside the St Ives half. Dion Kelly Evans to take it. Wants to take it quickly, does. Finds Holman, brought down on the foot, and then is clattered away, and that will be Jarrell Berry. St Ives screaming for a free kick against their number 9. Referee shakes the head, says no. Throw-in taken by Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans to Meikle. Back to Kelly Evans. Clips it forward. O'Connor's there. It's headed up by the number 5. Richens doesn't quite get there before. Heads it away. Now Kelly Evans sprays it into his own half. Berry's playing at centre half, the left side of the centre half. Luke Graham playing on the right hand side of it. Roturner. Kelly has to turn back. He's on the halfway line now. Plays it back over the halfway line to Luke Graham. Luke Graham looks up, sprays the ball right hand side for Dion Kelly Evans. Good touch from Kelly Evans. Bit heavy. May have to go backwards again. Looking for something forward. Goes back to Luke Graham again. St Ives doing very well at the moment of just snuffing out the options. They're not really putting much pressure on the ball, but there's nothing to pass it to Berry. Roe Turner. Roe Turner now has 2 players to contend with from St Ives. Plays it down the line. O'Connor's made the run. O'Connor gets there first. He's hassled. That's a foul. It is always going to be a foul. Oh, it isn't. He's given it as a throw-in for St Ives.
Yep. No
Oh,
foul
it
given.
sounded like he'd blown his whistle.
It looked as though he was he was sort of mimed blowing a whistle without actually blowing it.
Yes. Throwing it is in for St Ives, deep inside their own half. Goes long down the line as you would expect. Flicked on by a St Ives player. Richards heads up, then heads again, then headed by the number 7, then Richards heads it again. This time Kelly brings it down. Couldn't get it past the St Ives defender. He's worked well though. He's got it back and he's done a lovely little pirouette and the ball's been deflected through to Holman. Holman lays it down. Honus is there, but Holman was offside, and then Honus has put that into Morrison's. Thankfully for him, Holman was already offside and it wouldn't have counted, but wasn't the greatest of shots from Rhys Honus, and it goes some way to explaining why we don't see him shoot outside the box very often.
No, Rhys thought he'd have a free one there. I think he knew the whistle had already gone and fancied a bit of practice. So hopefully the next one he gets will be an improvement on that one.
Well, we'd hope so. That goal kick's not great at all, and it's spooned straight out for a throw in front of the St Ives bench. Kelly Evans takes it quickly. Honus is there. Come really deep, Honus, and then Kelly Evans puts it forward. No one there underneath it in Kettering colours, or it's going to be headed out for a throw-in. No, it's well kept in by the number 11. Expensive possession though. Lyndon Meikle in centre. Left-footed ball, switches the play out to the left-hand side for Roe Turner. Roe Turner takes a touch, looks up, then takes another one and goes into the centre for Richards. Richards, he miscontrolled it, but Meikle was there to spare his blushes. That's a great ball from Lyndon Meikle, and O'Connor can't quite get there. It's headed away and it should be hooked clear by St Ives. In fact, it was, but it's come off the boot of Rhys Honus and it's out for a goal kick. But good work that from Lyndon Meikle there. It was a lovely little ball through, and St Ives player had to get something on it, or else O'Connor was going to be bringing that down 7 yards out from goal and only the goalkeeper to beat.
Yeah, good little run in from Aaron, past the last defender, and nearly was found. And it's clear to me that St Ives, a bit like Redditch on Tuesday, happy to concede possession, get 10 men or even 11 men behind the ball. And they'll be hoping for a similar result, I'm sure, as was achieved on Tuesday night.
Richards does well and Kelly puts the ball long. It's going to be too long. It'll be the goalkeepers. And yeah, easy for the man in bright blue. Certainly not going to miss him if the floodlights go out, which of course we hope they don't. That's not a good kick from the goalkeeper again, but he's got away with this one as St Ives keep possession on the halfway line. Clip left-footed down the line. Luke Graham gets there. It's come off his shin. He's going to have a chance to head the ball again. And then it comes off the side of his head and goes out for a throw-in. Did enough, Luke Graham, to snuff out the St Ives attack. It's an interesting decision to bring Luke Graham back into the fold and have Declan Towers on the bench. Wonder what the thinking is behind that. I'm sure we'll get the thoughts of one of the management team after the game on it, but anything major that you can think of, Gary Foreman?
I think it's the fact that he's got players back from injury. He's got a strong squad now, strong bench, and it's going to be a long season, plenty of games to play this month, so rotation is probably the way forward. And I don't think it's a particular reflection on the likes of Declan Towers. He's had a fantastic season. Yes, he was part of the defence that conceded 4 goals on Tuesday, but I think it's more or less about giving people a rest, bringing people in, and you know, Marcus will be judged on his results at the end of the day by taking those tactics. But for my money, you know, 2 maybe 3 changes a game is no bad thing when you've got strength on the bench to bring in.
It's definitely not a weaker substitution, is it? But very, very good depth in this Kettering squad. So some very, very good players as well. There was Luke Graham to Kelly. Kelly back to Roe Turner. Roe Turner hits long. Holman's underneath it. He can't get there, but Lyndon Meikle's going to fall on the second ball, and he's herring down the right-hand side. He's got Kelly Evans outside him. He uses Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans puts the ball in low. Well, the number 8 has stopped that, dead and out for a corner. Good brave defending that from the captain, the number 8. And Kettering have got a corner from it, but a really, really quick breakaway from Kettering. Suddenly it was with Roturner, and then all of a sudden Lyndon Meikle's bursting forward and Kelly Evans got a chance. Short corner not going to go. No, it is. It's gone. Now to Kelly, the corner taker again. Now back to Honus. Honus now breaking in towards the penalty area. It's a bit of a heavy touch. Lays it off. Oh, it's a bit bobbly and it's not falling to anyone. And that may be a foul on the St Ives player. No, he's not giving it. It's going to be a Kettering throw-in. St Ives adamant they should have had a foul. And I think, actually, they've probably got a case with that one. But here comes St Ives away again. That's good from Lyndon Meikle. Really good work from Lyndon Meikle. But now he's lost the ball and St Ives will bring it away with the number 8. Number 8 goes long. Roturner does really well and he's got a lot of space to run into here. Roturner, he's a powerful runner. There he is, plays it forward. Oh, it's just taken a deflection. St Ives clear away again to the halfway line. Brought down by Meikle to Berry. Berry goes along the line to Luke Graham. Luke Graham now looking for something. He is going to go long. He's looking for Holman. Holman brings it down on his thigh, turns. Offside, says the linesman. How on earth is that offside? Holman at no point was beyond at least 2 defenders.
Yeah, strange one, I have to say. First impressions. Maybe the video later on will say that the linesman got it completely right and we were completely wrong, but
it's not. Oh, I think he's giving it for. Is he giving it for a foul? Oh, he's giving it as a foul. Sorry.
Oh, it's a foul.
So Holman has dragged him. Well, the linesman. The international symbol for foul from a linesman is wave the flag, not just put it up in the air. That means offside. Marcus Law and Richard Lavery immediately getting into the ear of the experienced official. As we've heard the phrase used quite often now, haven't we? Senior, that's it, the senior linesman. Throw-in taken. Ball put down the line. That's a great header from Dion Kelly Evans, considering his small stature. Here comes the number 7 breaking into the box, though. Offside he is. Did wonder whether that was going to be given. I looked over to the linesman initially. Flag didn't go up, but then it did. Paul White wanted to take it quickly, but there's absolutely no one on. And now Dion Kelly Evans might be there, but nothing there. Kettering's bench have, in recent games, been begging players to keep the tempo up from these free kicks, no matter where they are on the pitch, as St Ives head that up and out for a throw-in. Ben Baker there, ex-Kettering of course, is not keeping the ball in, but that's certainly a part of Kettering's attack, isn't it? Getting free kicks no matter where they are and getting some tempo on it. But here come Kettering with good tempo. Rhys Honus has to go out to Nathaniel Roturner on the far side. Breaks past the St Ives player, puts the ball in. It's a good deflection. It's come back off Roturner and it's a goal kick. But Kettering like to get the ball in play quickly. None of this dead ball scenarios. And for a team that are very good at dead balls, Kettering like to keep the ball within the white lines and moving about.
Yeah, I think the fast tempo is something that Marcus had wanted to see right from the first game of the season. And to be fair, for the most part, we have achieved that as well. And it puts pressure on, especially at Latimer Park with a lot of teams just coming, hoping to get maybe a point out of the game. And we need a quick tempo to break them down rather than just sit back ourselves. And games can become a bit of a non-event on that basis. So, yep. All for quick start. The other thing I've noticed is that Kettering obviously do not have height up front. A couple of tall central defenders here for St Ives today. It's very much second ball when the ball goes long for Kettering in terms of quickly getting on it and making something happen.
Well, Paul White has the ball at his feet now. Ball's in play. Kicks long, looking towards Michael Richins. Richins, he's just lost that one, and Marcus Kelly didn't get the shout that there was a man on until too late. Not enough time to adjust, but St Ives put the ball long. Darrell Berry picks it up, left-footed, dispatches to Holman. Holman misjudges the flight, as does Aaron O'Connor. Kelly gets a better head on that one. Holman into Lyndon Meikle. Lyndon Meikle, great ball to Dion Kelly Evans. It might just be a little bit too far, and it forced the number 7 to put it out for a corner. It was one of those where you didn't want to take the risk of it running out for a goal kick and using your strength, because it looked like it was just starting to slow down.
Yeah, I think Ben Baker probably made the right decision from St Ives' point of view. put it out. We've got a chance to regroup now for the dead ball situation. And Marcus Kelly's looking to swing this one in long.
Yeah, Rhys Honus did offer the option of short. It's gone through, headed away from underneath the crossbar, really, from the St Ives player. There's no one forward for St Ives, so Berry's got the ball, lofts it forward. There's no one offside there, but it's going to go all the way through to the goalkeeper, who collapses on the ball, and Richard Lavery unhappy that no one has got the ball there, and it's allowed it to bounce in the 6-yard box. But yeah, that was interesting. St Ives, absolutely no one forward. In fact, the furthest player back, apart from Paul White, was Darrell Berry, and he was further forward than the edge of the centre circle in the St Ives half. So certainly shows you can tell a lot about the mindset from both teams from a set piece like that. And St Ives are certainly here to try and frustrate Kettering and get something from it. Of course, Kettering's lead at the top cut to 3 after Tuesday night, and Stourbridge winning and Kettering, of course, drawing. But there's 2 games in hand are still in play, and we'll try and bring you the results and latest scores of other games around the league as and when we get them. But Lyndon Meagle has the ball. He's twisting and turning, gets away from 3 players, and then dispatches a left-footed crossfield ball to Roe Turner. Roe Turner, that's high. Is it too high? It's been kept in by Rhys Honus. No, it hasn't. It's gone in, but it's already out of play. It's either given it as offside or he's given it as it's gone out of play. But, well, yes, Rhys Honus looked to have kept that ball in on the byline. The goalkeeper dropped it, and Aaron O'Connor stabbed it into the back of a empty and waiting net. But that's a big call from the linesman. I think it's probably the right one, if you see the lack of protests from Kettering players.
Yeah,
but that was close.
He had a better view than what we did, obviously, on the line. But a bit of a flap there from Martin Conway, the goalkeeper today for St Ives. Greasy ball, I think we can put that down to.
Yeah, he's not looked overly confident, especially with his kicks. St Ives go down the line. It's gone out of play. It's gone out of play. St Ives may have had a chance to get the ball into the penalty area there, but it had gone out for a goal kick. But yeah, the goalkeeper looked a little bit unsure of his kicking, and that handling wasn't the greatest either, as Dion Kelly-Evans puts it to Rhys Honus, who holds the ball up, plays it back to Meikle. Meikle back to Dion Kelly-Evans. Kelly-Evans back to Luke Graham. That's good work from St Ives, hunting in packs, but Luke Graham puts the ball through to Kelly. Kelly misread the run of Dan Holman, and St Ives bring the ball away. Not too sure what the central defender for St Ives was trying to claim there. He was unhappy with something from the referee's point of view, but not too sure exactly what. Meikle puts the ball to Darrell Berry. So far, Lyndon Meikle's passing has been absolutely incredible. He's spotting players in so much space, and these crossfield passes, made about 3 or 4 now, have been inch perfect. That ball from Berry wasn't, and St Ives will bring the ball away. They have got a chance, maybe for a slight counter, but that's a great sliding challenge from Michael Richards. And the ball goes out of play for a throw-in on the far side in front of the Burton Park Wanderers stand. Still 0-0 here at Latimer Park. No team really having a clear-cut opportunity. Kettering had the ball in the back of the net, but it had already gone out of play for a goal kick. Meikle, long ball. Rhys Honus was screaming for it. He doesn't get there, and St Ives will clear the ball, but only out for a throw-in, which Marcus Kelly wants to take quickly. He does, back to Roe Turner. Roe Turner punches it into Lyndon Meikle. Lyndon Meikle dispatches it down the line to Kelly, who keeps it in just. Goes past the number 2, Marcus Kelly, puts a ball in low, cleared away, and oh, it stayed in play from the number 2, who was on his stomach, just lifted his head up and nodded the ball to his teammate. That's arguably one of the best passes I've seen this season, and he meant nothing of it. But Paul White has the ball now after that attack from St Ives. Didn't really get anywhere. Paul White plays it to Meikle, who turns, looks forward. He's got nothing on, so he goes to Dion Kelly-Evans. Kelly-Evans to Honus. Honus, good touch, and he's using his pace and plays out to Berry, who's halfway inside his own half. Berry to Richards. Richards had 2 players on him, and one of them nicked there, and here comes St Ives again over the halfway line. Long ball. Luke Graham nods it calmly to Berry, who takes it on his chest and then dispatches left-footed forward to O'Connor. O'Connor's not going to get there, but Lyndon Meikle may fall on the rebound. He doesn't, but Kelly gets on that rebound, and now Kelly Evans into Meikle in the centre of the park. Centre of the park. Ball out wide to Dan Holman is about a yard and a half too far forward, and it's out for a throw-in. Marcus Law up bellowing instructions to his midfield, asking them to just get the ball moving a little bit quicker and just the concentration of the passes a little bit more. There were a few passes in there that you sort of looked were on but weren't made, or were made and weren't really on.
Yeah, it's just the coordination's not quite there at the moment. They are moving the ball reasonably well, but to break down a tight defence and men behind the ball, you've got to be very accurate, and you've also got to be very quick at the same time.
A lovely back heel from Rhys Honus to Nathaniel Roturner. Roturner back to Rhys Honus. Rhys Honus to O'Connor. O'Connor has not a great ball to Marcus Kelly, and there's a counter-attack, and Ben Baker is screaming for it on the left-hand side. And Paul White comes out, clears that ball towards Dan Holman. And St Ives have got a lot of time inside their own half, although they haven't, because Dan Holman's chasing him down. Long ball. Luke Graham, that's a wonderfully directed header to Rhys Honus. Rhys Honus leaves the number 4 down. That's a great ball from Rhys Honus as well. And here's Marcus Kelly. Plays it through to Aaron O'Connor, who's offside. It doesn't matter anyway. It's gone out for a goal kick. Someone's unhappy with the linesman.
Better though, that was better move. Quick passes. Passing to people running into space, so it becomes a lot more natural then for them to look for the next pass as well. Unfortunately, the last ball just found Aaron straying offside on the far side, but that's a bit more encouraging, that was.
Yeah, still no real clear-cut opportunities for either side. As Graham heads the goal kick back towards where it came. A little bit of head tennis here, brought down by Meikle, and Meikle plays out towards his near side. Holman won't get there, neither will the left back, and it's a throw in anyway. So throw in on this near side for the number 3. He's asking the big number 10 to come over and act as a target man down the line. Thrown long, it is looking for that number 10, and he gets there as well. Brings it down, looking for something, goes through, and now Ben Baker has it. That's a heavy touch from him, but he'll keep it on. Twisting, turning, and he's found the number 10 who plays it along the... Oh, there should be a chance. It's a goal for St Ives. Kettering undone. And it was the left-hand side. The ball went in, and the St Ives striker took it, turned, and dispatched past Paul White. Nothing Paul White could have done. But the first real opportunity for either side, and St Ives have put it in the back of the net. Kettering currently trailing 1-0.
Good interplay there from Ben Baker and Danny Kelly up front, and it was Oliver Snaith, the number 9, that supplied the finish into the bottom corner. But as far as Kettering is concerned, that's another worrying sign, because as you say, first opportunity that St Ives have created all game, and it's resulted in a goal. Not great that from Kettering's point of view, allowing the player to turn and... oh, Kettering have got a false start there. Actually, I think it was more... if this is American football, it'd be offside on the defence. But no 5-yard penalties here. I like your knowledge there, though. Thank you. Great game of American football. Rhys Honus, not as good as this one, but it's still a good sport. Kettering are going to have to maybe chuck a few Hail Marys of their own if it stays anything like this. Good touch from Dion Kelly Evans down the right-hand side. Puts the ball in. It's easily cleared away, though. No one from Kettering has brought that down. Honus has done well. Oh, Luke Graham missed kicks, and he's got 3 players, but he's dispatched a really, really good ball forward to Dan Holman, who plays it out left to Nathaniel Roturner. Roturner to Dan Holman. Holman, great touch from him. Lays it to Lyndon Meikle. Lyndon Meikle dispatches one to Kelly. It's deflected, so it's brought him back. That's not a great bad ball in, though. Oh, and Honus goes down. Referee unmoved. Unmoved. Kettering are claiming that Honus got there first. Honus is still down, and Kettering have just carried on playing. Kelly puts it in. Flicked on by Kelly. Sorry, Kelly Evans put it in, and Marcus Kelly was the one meeting it, but the header was glanced into the hands of the goalkeeper.
Kettering are claiming that Honus got there first and then was hauled to the ground by the defender, and everyone in Kettering colours here are all claiming that one, and it certainly looked a little bit more stonewall than a few of the penalties we've seen. But, a push on Marcus Kelly goes unnoticed, and the Kettering fans are getting a little bit restless at the moment as St Ives come forward again with the number 3, now out to 7, Ben Baker, of course, ex-Kettering. Back to the number 3 again. Ben Baker tries to be too clever and Kelly Evans brings it away. Still going Dion Kelly Evans. Plays it into Marcus Kelly with acres of space in the centre box. So much space. Kelly runs into trouble, goes to O'Connor. O'Connor lays it to Nathaniel O'Turner. O'Turner puts it in. That's a handball! Oh, well, that was arguably more blatant than the first one. The St Ives player was already on the floor and the ball went in, and the player on the floor had, well, it's hit both hands, hasn't it, really? As he's trying, he's not meant it, the player, but as he's getting up from being on the floor, where he's put his hands down to get up, that's exactly where the ball's hit.
I think the question is that you've just said it though, Ed. Did he mean to?
Doesn't matter.
It does. It has to be intentional
no.
to be given as a penalty. And the referee thought that he was in the process of getting off the floor, and the ball came in from not far away. Then it's no penalty.
Well, surely it's if the hands are in a natural position, but that shot has been deflected away, which I guess they weren't in that one. No, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if
still a penalty.
If you're getting off the floor and you're using your hands to get off the floor, you'd have to say that's a natural position. So. But it's getting spicy again.
Yes, the linesman has given a throw into St Ives, and the referee has overruled him this time because it was blatantly a Kettering throw-in. I'm not too sure on that one, Marcus Lloyd. It's not as if the linesman's got a hard job. I'm sure the linesman among you will disagree with him there. Marcus Kelly is Kelly Evans is a heavy touch, and that one has come off Kelly Evans and will be a goal kick. But already, lots to talk about at half-time in terms of decisions being made.
Yeah, there'll be a few incidents to show, and you can make your own minds up looking at those on the highlights package later on. In terms of, was Rhys Honus caught? Was it a handball deliberate that should have been given as a penalty? But as it stands, neither decision given in Kettering's favour, and we're going to have to get on with it.
It's a good header from Luke Graham, and Marcus Kelly slightly overhit the pass back to Paul White, but Paul White does well enough with it, ish. Miscontrolled the ball and nearly fell over, but got there eventually. He goes towards Michael Richins. Richins doesn't win there, but it's a Kettering throw-in. Marcus Law screaming for some tempo, and it was taken quickly by Rhys Honus. Kelly Evans puts it forward to O'Connor. O'Connor, that's a really nice touch, lays it to Lyndon Meikle. Oh, well, he's got it all sorts of wrong. He's got it all sorts of wrong. He's gone to go with his right foot, and it's just too far across his body, and he's dragged it horribly. He didn't even drag it, he just sort of hit it straight from the way he was looking. Tried to hit it with the outside of his boot, and it's come dead straight.
Had to use his left foot there, Ed. He was never going to get in on target with his right foot the way the ball was shaping up, and unfortunately he just didn't have enough confidence to have a go on his left foot. And you know, that's a personal pet hate of mine. You know, I know that most players have got a stronger foot, but sometimes you have to trust the weaker one because it's still the better option.
It certainly looked like a push from Jarrell Berry on the St Ives player. Everyone in Kettering was screaming for O'Turner to play it back to the goalkeeper. He decided not to. Has won a throw-in out of it though. St Ives player on the far side, not ingratiating himself with the Kettering fans. As Berry's not really got a lot on. Goes back to O'Turner, who goes back to Berry. There's not really many options at the moment. St Ives are doing so well. Look how they're closing down the options. Goes long. Flicked on by Holman, brought down by O'Connor. No Honus. That's a foul. That'll be a booking as well. There's no way that the number 6 can even try and protest his innocence there. He's going to, but it's blatant. It's a yellow card. It just is. The number 3's going over to try and put his tuppence in as well. It does make me chuckle when players try and defend themselves after that. I mean, it's one of those. It's a mistimed challenge. He's brought him down. It's a yellow card.
Yeah, it was a dangerous run from Rhys Onis, so that was definitely a yellow card on that particular foul. Yeah, Rhys is a very quick player, we know that, and it just takes half a yard to get away from defenders, and I think that's Jarvis Wilson that has been entered into the book for St Ives.
Well, this isn't too far away, albeit at the other end of the pitch, from where the ball was clipped in for Dan Holman on Tuesday. A little bit more central, possibly. In fact, actually, where the ball's been put, it's dead central, so it is a little bit far away. But we could do with Marcus Kelly clipping the ball right on Dan Holman's head again here. And there's certainly still a few players up there that he could aim for as well. And Kettering are split to 50-50 either side. But yes, Roe Turner, as you're pointing out to me there, has got acres of space if Kelly just wants to hit it towards the wing. But no, they've gone and closed him down now. But Kettering have got players either side of the wall to clip it into. It's been clipped into Richins. It's headed away for a corner for Kettering. It's the big number 10 again. He's putting himself about, and he's doing really well at being a target man and getting his head there. He's probably the tallest player on the pitch, the number 10.
All 11 players for St Ives in the penalty box, pretty much.
They are now, yes. So Kettering have got to find something special to get past this. They might do as it's flicked on. Handball claims not given. Kelly Evans, left-footed, just drags it past the post. But Kettering feel they have another handball claim. That one wasn't as clear-cut, shall we say, they think, as the first one.
No.
But Holman and the fans behind the goal,
it was half-hearted, that one. Half-hearted shout, I think.
Yeah, and I think that one, it's a case of it was about a yard and a half away from him. I'm not too sure exactly how quickly you want the hand to get out of the way of it, but goal kick taken. Graham has pushed the St Ives player to the disgust of everyone in red and black.
Yeah, he didn't need to do that, actually. I thought Luke was favourite to win the ball without making contact with Oliver Snaith. And yeah, Kettering have got some defending to do here from the free kick that the captain Robert Parker is lining up to take. That was a better header away that time by Luke Graham. But the ball is still with, on the far side, Danny Kelly for St Ives, who puts the ball into the box, half cleared from Kettering's perspective. Breaks to Parker, though, running at the Kettering defence onto the left-hand side. Over to Seymour Shove on the left wing, and Seymour Shove has won a corner for St Ives.
Certainly is, and St Ives are showing that they are still here in an attacking sense, and they can still try and punch something forward and punch a hole in that Kettering defence. They've done it once. But in comes the corner. It's going to be right-footed. There's some big men up for St Ives. There's a lot of pushing and shoving, and the referee says no, and Paul White just punches the ball away about 40 yards down the pitch. I'm sure of the thinking of that one from Paul White. The whistle had gone a long time ago. So the referee is now waiting for the ball to be put back onto the corner quadrant. And as is the way with modern footballers, it's not exactly in the quadrant, it's on the outside of it, and a part of the ball is touching the line. Goes in front post, headed away by Kelly Evans, back to the corner taker. That's lofted in. It's 2-0. A cross in again, and it's the number 5. And Kettering, their molehill to climb has just looked a little bit more like a mountain. And Kettering again undone by a cross. And it's St Ives 2, Kettering Town 0.
Well, I asked a question at the beginning of the programme, Ed, as to whether the defending on Tuesday night was a blip. I think we've already had an answer, to be honest, because that was very shoddy defending again for Kettering. Sam Cartwright, the number 5 for St Ives, is a big unit, and to allow him to have a free header from about 6 yards out is criminal. And two cases of poor defending already for Kettering, and now they really are leaving themselves a mountain to climb this afternoon.
Kelly brings the ball down to Meikle. Oh, Meikle's a poor touch, and Ben Baker's going down the line, and he's got the pace. And there could be a chance here for St Ives to make it 3. Baker into the area, good challenge from Luke Graham, and it's stayed in play. No, it hasn't, it's a corner. That's another cross going to come in from a St Ives Town point of view. There's another chance for them to get a goal before half time to make it 3. Just over 10 minutes to go in this first half. Kettering have got to make sure that there is no conceding here, and there's a Roe Turner who's headed away. Back out to the corner taker again. Overhead kick try as Luke Graham gets rid of that. It's been flicked on and Honus can't bring it down, and Sundyer nudges Honus off the ball goes long. Kelly Evans heads forward, flicked on by Richins, but Sundyer brings down and plays out to the right hand side. And the ball goes long again towards the big number 10. Flicked on, really up, and the number 11 manages to bring it down. And Meikle's fouled him. Now St Ives have the chance to put the ball in the box once more from about 30 yards out on the left hand side. Not good from Kettering Town, and they're going to have to hope that the 4 goals that they've scored in the past 2 games here at Latour Park are going to come at some point either later in this first half or in the second half, because they're going to need at least 3 to keep the 3 points at Northamptonshire. Taken quickly and short down the line. The number 11 puts it in. Corner ball again for St Ives. This is not the end of the pitch that Kettering want the ball in.
Yeah, good spell of pressure for St Ives. They're looking dangerous. Their tails are up. Kettering look rather uncertain at the back, as you probably understand at the moment. And now they've got to defend another corner.
Corner goes in again, headed away by Kelly Evans. Holman's going to get there first. He's not really got a lot to do. Oh, he's done really well though. And a crossfield ball, and Sundyer slips. Oh, and Kelly didn't quite get on there. Holman's back again. Good challenge from Holman. But St Ives get the ball back again. Kelly Evans just puts the ball forward, and it's out for a throw-in for St Ives. Still not going the number 3. He's taken quite a few yards as well. Luke Graham, oh, it's not a clearance, it's gone the wrong way. The number 10's through. It's a great challenge from Luke Graham. Great challenge from Luke Graham, and Paul White clears long towards O'Connor. It's too long for O'Connor, and it's up into the air. And good jump from Lyndon Meikle, puts it back to Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans hits into the channel. No one there from a St Ives point of view. From a Kettering point of view, sorry. And the St Ives number 3 has miskicked it, and it's allowed Holman into the left-hand side. Headed away. No one there from a Kettering point of view. Oh, that was dangerous. Oh, and it's being pinballed around, and eventually it goes out from St Ives, but not really away. It's just up. Sundyer's done really well. Great challenge from Luke Graham. And Sundyer's gone down. And then that's a good challenge from the St Ives number 11 to put it out for a throw-in for Kettering. Kelly Evans puts the ball forward. Holman can't quite get there, and St Ives should get it away. Oh, and they have done, and Ben Baker's got acres of space at the centre of the park. There's a tussle in the centre, and Berry's going to be booked for blocking Ben Baker. And Berry's going to go in the book, and this is a dangerous area for St Ives. This is not going the way that Kettering would have liked it so far.
No, these worrying times for Kettering. There's no doubt about that. It's pretty clear as well that we've got 3 very attacking players in midfield, but quick counter attack like that, and they're definitely exposed.
Needed to take him down though, didn't he, Darrell Berry? Ben Baker was through 1-on-1 with Paul White, so tactical foul, isn't it? But there's a chance here for St Ives to shoot. It's going to be the number 10. It's about 28 yards out. Right-footed, is on the right-hand side of the D though, so it would suit a left footer, but it's a... Oh, it's gone in. It's a good free kick, and it's 3-0. Paul White rooted to the spot.
That was a wonderful shot by Danny Kelly.
Yeah,
you have to take your hat off to that. Wonderful free kick. Paul White, no chance. It was the far side of the goal, and it hit the underside of the crossbar and bounced in. It was a terrific strike. You have to say that.
Well, what is happening to this Kettering side?
Well, this is the set themselves the biggest test of the season so far by a country mile, and at the end of the day, I know Marcus will have something to say at half time, but it's only the players that can sort it out for themselves on the pitch. And we've had a few tests of character. We've been told about the strength of characters in the team and the spirit. Well, here's your chance to really go on and prove it.
St Ives should get that ball away. It's down the line, and St Ives have kept it as well. Kelly brings down Luke Graham. Graham's caught, but there's a advantage. Lyndon Meikle puts it through to Holman. There's a great touch from Holman. Holman! Oh, there's a block. And St Ives, oh, they don't clear. Meikle shoots, blocked. Away. Richins picks up the ball halfway inside the St Ives half. Yeah, he was pushed and pulled, and Richins tried to regain his feet. He couldn't. But chance for Kettering to get something back before half time. They are now going to need the 4 goals that they've scored in the past 2 games at home. It's taken quickly, and Holman, oh, he's put it past the post.
Oh, what a chance. What a chance, Dan Holman. You would have expected him to finish that. Quick free kick from Marcus Kelly, and the St Ives defence was caught cold. It left Holman through 1-on-1, and unfortunately for Kettering, just when we needed that lifeline, he put it wide.
Feel it's not going Kettering's way at the moment.
No, it certainly isn't. But there was an opportunity to get a goal back, and we've noticed about mentioned about the defensive frailties, but that was an attacking frailty, not putting the ball in the back of the net when we had a very good chance.
Ball high into the air. Honus wins it. Holman doesn't get there, and Kettering run away, but Holman's going to go. Holman's off. That's an awful decision. Holman gets there first. The St Ives player goes down, and Holman's then sent. Well, this game wasn't bad for Kettering before. It's just gone even worse.
Well, I didn't see that to be a red card at all. I didn't even think it was a foul. But the referee has given the decision, and Dan Holman has been sent off for Kettering, and a very bad afternoon has somehow managed or other to get even worse for Kettering Town. But I have to say, from my first impression is that was no way a red card offence, even if it was an offence at all. I'm not sure it was. But we will obviously get a replay of that at some point.
Oh, 4 goals with 10 men.
Well, the mountain has just turned into Everest, hasn't it? So
if there is any team in this league that have the attacking prowess to do it, it is Kettering, though. But they're not going to do very well without the ball as Sundar comes forward. Oh, that's a foul against Kelly as well. Oh, it's taken quickly and Baker's through. Baker's through. It's a good tackle by Kelly Evans. It's a corner for St Ives. Oh, corner for St Ives, and Kettering. It's going to be half time in a few minutes. Oh, now there's Monash Sundire's down. He's got cramp in the first half.
Already. Cramp in the first half.
Corner comes in, headed away by Marcus Kelly of all people. That's good from Meek. Oh, he's been fouled and the referee's not giving it. This is poor from the referee. This is very, very, very poor. 2 minutes added on. Well, that's silly from the Kettering fan, throwing the ball away from the St Ives player. They'll be happy to waste the time. Just give it straight back to him. Get the ball moving. Cut out by Kelly, back to Sundire. It's a heavy touch. Kept in play. Good from Richens over there. Good, still good from Richens. Clears the ball away towards O'Connor. O'Connor, without his partner up front, is twisting, turning. Oh, he's done so well to release Marcus Kelly. Marcus Kelly towards Honus. Honus breaking forward. Can he give Kettering a glimmer of hope? He can't in that instance, but Roturner comes forward. The St Ives player falls. That looked a foul as well, but the referee's not giving it. It's a throw-in. Kettering, you feel, have got to get a goal before half-time. They could still do it in the second half, but certainly makes life a lot easier if you get one just before the half. Luke Graham. Luke Graham plays to Richens. Richens to Berry. Berry, he's got nothing forward, so he has to go along to Richens. Graham. Graham, there's nothing forward for Kettering. Richens. Long ball to Roturner, who's offside, says the linesman. He wasn't getting there anyway. And it's a throw-in. Oh, the referee's giving it as a throw-in. Was actually flagged for offside, but...
Yeah, poor judgment there from the linesman, not keeping his flag up if he's giving it for offside, but St Ives will have the throw instead, and that's it for half-time.
Kettering are 3-0 down and a man down, and you can't really argue with the goals conceded from Kettering's point of view, but you can argue with some of the decisions made going forward. There was, well, a very, very strong shout for a penalty against Rhys Honus. And then there was a very, very strong shout for a handball against a St Ives defender, both at big, crucial moments in that first half. And then there's a very, very big case for Kettering still having 11 on the pitch and Dan Holman not being sent off. Holman won the ball fair and square. The St Ives player went down and the referee came over and brandished his red card. Bizarre decisions. We're going to go back down to the studio. It's Kettering 0, St Ives 3. Paul Cook, good luck.
Well, a horror show here at Latimer Park from the Poppies Persuasion. Who'd have thought at half-time it would be Kettering Town 0, St Ives Town 3. A combination of poor defending, strange officialdom and controversy have made this first half one that Kettering Town will want to forget. Down to 10 men with the sending off late on Dan Holman for innocuous foul. We probably will show that a little later. Superb free kick though for number 3 from Danny Kelly, but should he have been allowed to get away with it after Luke Graham was brought down previously? Referee waved play on or ignored it, and from the foul that Berry caused, they scored their third goal. A cracking goal all the same though. But it's all controversy here as the referee Mark Kinsley hasn't endured himself to the Poppies faithful, and it looks like at the moment, unless we have an inspired second half, the 10-men Kettering Town may have their second defeat of the season against an Ives Town side that clearly have learnt from what Redditch United did on Tuesday night and have put Kettering to the sword on the few attacks that they have had. It was from their first corner that they scored their first goal, and that was Oliver Snaith. Similar sort of goal from Sam Cartwright, and then just before half-time, well, not just before half-time, but a few minutes before half-time, that superb free kick from Danny Kelly. In between time there, Dan Holman has been sent off, so Kettering down to 10 men. It was a straight red, so that's going to be a 3-game ban, I would think, for Dan Holman, unless Kettering appeal. It does look a bit strange. On the monitor, we will try and show you this when we get somebody in here to have a chat with, but Kettering started off the brighter of the two teams, to be honest. It looked like it was going to be one-way traffic, superb possession, ball movement was good, but straight away after the frailties on Tuesday night exposed Kettering's defence, it's happened again against St Ives, and now they have an uphill task in this second half if they're going to claw anything out of this game. And it has surprised me, really, the efficiency of St Ives. It was in fact Ben Baker, former Kettering player, that crossed the ball for Oliver Snaith to ram in past the stationary Paul White, who couldn't do anything about any of the goals, really. You can't blame Paul White. Players are not actually marking their opposing players, giving too much time, and Kettering find themselves 3-0 down. Well, it's certainly something I didn't expect, and I'm sure the people watching, except the St Ives fans, must be delighted. St Ives have never scored more than one goal at Latimer Park, and here they are with 3. Kettering now have conceded, let's see, they've conceded 9 goals in the last 3 games at Latimer Park. Incredible when you consider prior to that they had only conceded 6 goals in all the games they had played. Food for thought for Marcus Law and his staff at half-time. Going to need to be a brilliant team talk and some resolute defending, I would think, in the second half, not to increase the scoreline, but to try and get back into this game if Kettering are to. They have chosen Salkin, Storer, Mills and Towers on the bench, but the big question really is Holman being sent off, and it was, to me, looked like a very, very rash decision from the referee. Certainly a yellow, but I don't think it deserved a red. I know I'm biased, but I think when you see it for yourselves, you'll see that it was a yellow card. The player didn't make a meal out of it, but it's on screen now, and there's a header. In comes the Holman, and the player goes down. It wasn't intended, I don't think, there, but the referee thought it was, and has sent Holman off, much to the amazement of A. Holman and the Kettering Town bench. So there we are, 3-0. I'm not sure really where Kettering can come back from this. It would be better enough with 11 players on the pitch, but with 10, it is going to be extremely difficult. The second goal, we can show you that had from St Ives. We can't show you the first goal, but we can show you the second one. Here it comes now. It crosses over. In and unmarked at the back post again, that back post frailty there, and it's headed in quite simply. One more time, back post, there it is, and a free header. Paul White can do nothing about that. One more time for you if you're watching this. I'm sorry, but it is a horror show. Halloween was a few weeks ago, but it certainly isn't very good for Poppies fans. And then well, let's say the free kick. It was the free kick, but can we run the play before there, where Luke Graham was in fact brought down prior to this free kick, and the referee. Okay, we can show that in a few moments, but we'll show you the free kick. But prior to this free kick, Luke Graham was brought down. Play went on, and the goal was neatly put into the net there. Paul White couldn't do anything about it, and Darrell Berry found himself also in the referee's book as well. It was a well-struck free kick, I must confess. Nothing that White could do unsighted, and almost the perfect free kick. We're trying to find the footage just beforehand, which I'm sure Kettering would like to look at, because it involved Luke Graham, who was brought down, and referee ignored that. Here's the Holman sending off again. No, we still are there. We'll bring you that as soon as we can find it. But it isn't going well for Kettering. There's a good crowd in here, especially after that 4-4 thriller on Tuesday. It is going to take all the might of Kettering Town's resolution, work ethic, etc. to get back into this game. And those travelling St Ives fans there will be delighted with what they have seen. And I'm sure that they'll want to increase the pain on Kettering, a side that features 2 ex-poppies in Monash Dyer playing number 4 for St Ives, and number 7 Ben Baker, who made the first goal for the Saints. You'll be able to see that on our highlights package. Incidentally, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. It won't cost you anything. It just means if we can get to 1,000 subscribers, we can start making some money for the Poppies. Now we can show you that incident there with Luke Graham just before the free kick. So if we can run VT, here we are. It's case here, and Luke Graham has gone down there off the ball, and from the resulting there he is. He is brought down. Referee ignores it, but from the resulting free kick is where the 3rd goal comes from, and referee not obliging to do anything in Kettering Town's favour. And again, with the linesman on the right hand side here, who's been quite controversial with some of his decisions, isn't enduring himself to the Kettering public. But whatever you think about it, it's 3-0 at half time, and it's going to be an uphill task. And as I say, Kettering down to 10 men. We will bring you obviously the second half live when it kicks off back here on Tuesday night against Barwell. That is in the City Security Services Limited Challenge Cup 3rd round against Barwell. That's Tuesday night at 7:45. We're back here a week today against Lowestoft Town on Saturday the 8th of December. An away game for us all on the 15th of December, and myself and Ed Palmer will be covering that for you on Poppies TV Audio. Back here then just before Christmas on Saturday the 22nd of December against Hitchin Town. That's the game before Christmas where everyone will be wearing their Christmas jumpers. Let's hope that Kettering have regained their form before these games. And then we have Bedworth on Boxing Day away. We are still waiting to see if that's going to be a 1 o'clock kickoff or 3 o'clock. We'll bring you the news on that when we can. And finally, the last game of 2018 is away at the Walks on the 29th of December. So some good games there to look out for. But I'm sure the Kettering faithful that are here this afternoon will be bitterly disappointed in what they have seen. And certainly there's been all sorts of issues, controversy. It's never dull here at Latimer Park, you can say that. You're going to see goals, you're going to see action, you're going to see controversy, you're going to say thrills and spills. And it hasn't gone the Poppies' way so far this afternoon. 45 minutes to go. We can show you some of the it's going to be some of the penalty takers at half time. It's Phil Wade's side, and they were the mascots for the game. We'll leave you with those on screen. If we can do that, that would be good. Let's see Phil's lads, the under 10s I think it is. And we... oh, right. Okay, we're going to have that on our highlights package for the under 10s. The viewers, you can't see that, but there's a penalty shootout going on at the moment. Phil Wade does an excellent job with the mascots. It's his team that have been in the studio this afternoon and seeing how we compile this programme and what we do behind the scenes. Well, behind the scenes in Kettering Town dressing room, I'd like to be a fly on the wall. But I'm sure there's a few teacups and things gone throwing around there, and I'm sure that Marcus Law will want to see the decision made by referee Tinsley on Dan Holman. It looked a bit harsh to me. I know I'm a little biased about it, but it certainly didn't look like a red card offence when you consider what red card offences have been dished out in the past. But no matter what we think or say or do, that decision has been made. Kettering are down to 10 men. They are down by 3 goals to 0. They have it all to do They are only 3 points ahead of Stourbridge, albeit with 2 games in hand. It would put the onus back on Kettering Town winning those games in hand to keep the points advantage over their rivals. And the last couple of games for Kettering haven't gone the Poppies' way. After those games against Royston and Stourbridge, the 2 top sides, they struggled 4-4 against Redditch, and then have put in another horror show, really, against St Ives this afternoon. Martin Conway in the St Ives goal not had a lot to do other than a few blocks, and the defence has held out quite well with ex-Poppy Manash Sundar in there. The number 4 proven to be quite a handful. I'm sure Ben Baker will be delighted with his performance so far over his ex-teammates. It will be interesting to see what happens in this second half. As I say, I'm looking forward to it to a certain extent, but is it going to be the second defeat of the season? It's very, very rare that a team who are 3-0 up do lose 4-3. I seem to remember, though, a 3-0 scoreline at Westwood Road a couple of seasons ago, and Kettering powered back to win that one 4-3. That was with 11 players on the pitch. It's going to be a titanic effort for Kettering to do that this afternoon, but they certainly have the personnel to do it. It's if they have the stamina and if they have the luck going their way. It certainly hasn't gone their way so far this afternoon, and I'm sure that we're going to see more thrills and spills. Well, I'm going to hand you over to our commentary team. The teams must be soon coming out for this second half. They can give you a description of what's going on outside of the ground. It isn't raining. It hasn't been raining throughout. It's been very dull, I must confess, obviously, if you're listening to this at home. Teams are coming out, so I'm going to hand you over now to Ed Palmer and to Gary Foreman. It's Kettering Town 0, St Ives Town 3 here at Latimer Park, and you can hear it live on Poppy's TV Audio.
Well, thank you, Cookie. Out come the teams back out for the second half. Kettering have got, as Gary Foreman said, a mountain the size of Everest to climb this second half. You've got 10 men, and they have got 45 minutes to get at least 3 goals with it. Myself and Mr. Spearman were having the conversation. We think Kettering have to score in the first 5 minutes. But Kettering have now got 45 minutes to score 3 goals against a team with 11 men, and you would presume sitting back in their own penalty area. Declan Towers wasn't out warming up with the players at half time. We did think that it may be that he's going to be coming on, but he's not. And Kettering are lining up the way they did the first half. This is going to be a it's difficult to find the words. It's going to be a very difficult second half, at least, for Kettering. So, Kettering, we went through in upstairs with Matt. We said 1 goal with 10 men in 45 minutes, doable. 2 goals with 10 men in 45 minutes, still possible. 3 goals is the limit that you really start to push it a little bit. With 10 men against 11 in a 45-minute contest. It's a team that will probably just be sitting behind to defend. Already the back, and the goalkeeper for St Ives goes down and straight out for a throw-in for Kettering. Throw-in taken wrong. Richards wins the header, flicked on by Honus. Honus gets there again. Sundar goes down again. Gets straight back up though once he realised he didn't get anything out of it. And away it goes. Graham bobbles the ball to Meikle. Meikle gives the ball away, and St Ives will come forward. Down into that channel. Berry's going to get there first. It's done really well. It's done really well, and it's a goal kick for Kettering. Taken quickly from Paul White to Darrell Berry. Kettering going to have to keep this intensity up for the whole second half, you feel. Berry's got nothing, absolutely nothing on. Plays to Honus. Honus miscontrols it and St Ives bring it away, but that's really good work back from Richens to Kelly. Marcus Kelly. He's got Kelly Evans on his right. He uses him now. Good cut back from Kelly Evans. Oh, and Kelly Evans falls over just when you didn't want him to, and St Ives bring the ball away. It's Ben Baker. Marcus Kelly's across. Doesn't get there, and there's a man over for St Ives. This could be for shot. It's selfish from Ben Baker to knock it across goal. Would have been goal number 4, but he went himself, blazed it over the bar. Gives Kettering the ball back. So Paul White has got nothing short, so he's going to have to go long. Meikle's done really well. The return ball from Richens wasn't there though. Kettering look like, I know they've got to a certain degree, but they look like they're forcing this a little bit too much. Ball clipped down the line towards Honus. Honus takes a touch. O'Connor's going to get there instead though. Back to Richens. Richens puts it low. It's cleared up and back to Richens again. Richens takes a touch, looking for an option. He'll get a corner out of it. And Kettering are, well, like I say, we needed a goal in the first 5 minutes. This would do it, should this go in. Haven't had really a chance to speak to Gary Foreman yet this second half, but thoughts on tactical decisions to be made this 45?
Got a score here, I think, Ed.
Well, it goes in. It's looking good. It's flicked on by a St Ives player, and it'll be a Kettering throw-in, which Roe Turner is going to take. He's got no one on. Goes back to Meikle, who's got a touch at this. Lays it in. Should be the goalkeeper's. No, it's missed by everyone. Oh, and Rhys Honus doesn't quite get there at the far post. And it's a goal kick for St Ives.
We've gone 3 at the back, I think, more or less now. Return is certainly pushing on. Well, I think, to be fair, both fullbacks have been told to push on and try and make that extra man in the midfield area. We're still playing with 2 up front, Aaron O'Connor and Rhys Hearns. The referee is having a long chat with the captain of St Ives, Parker. I'm not quite sure about what, but
I think he's saying that he's not going to accept any kind of time wasting from the team. He called the captain over, so especially after there was the accusation of time wasting from that goal kick. Berry bursts forward to Roe Turner. Looks like there's going to be a substitution for Kettering soon. Ball goes down the line. It's going to be cut out by St Ives, and it's going to stay in place. Kelly plays it back to Paul White, who gets a couple of touches at this. Goes back to Marcus Kelly. Berry, that's a heavy touch, but he's got away with it. He's got 3 players round him. Goes back to Marcus Kelly. Kelly doesn't really have an option, so he's going to have to go to Luke Graham. Graham takes a touch. Marcus Kelly playing as centre half at the moment. Gets the ball back again. Berry steps forward. He's going to look long. He does go long to Kelly Evans. Cut out though, and unceremoniously launched forward. Good touch from Marcus Kelly. Kelly has to go to Paul White, who takes a touch. He's no pressure on him, just cutting off the options. Goes back to Marcus Kelly. It wasn't a great ball to him. He had to stretch, but he gets there eventually. Berry. Kelly, Paul White, Kettering are getting nothing out of it. And it goes to Roe Turner. Ives Turner to Berry. Berry to Meikle. Meikle, heavy touch, he's got there first, and Roe Turner puts into O'Connor. O'Connor bursts away, plays a lofted ball to Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans takes a touch, bursting forward, puts the ball in. It's poor, it's gone into the side netting though, and it's a goal kick. Substitution to be made by Kettering. Storer on, and Berry off. That would suggest Storer on the left and Roe Turner in centre.
Yeah, probably more three at the back with Gary Storer, but we'll see. But I've got some good news, Ed, for Kettering Town fans, believe it or not. St Neots are leading Starbridge by 1-0.
Now, is that a case of the biggest fish being let off, quite possibly the biggest hook, if that stays like that?
Well, if it stays like that, then yes, you'll count your blessings and move on to the next game, won't you? But you know, 1-0 is a little bit easier to turn around than 3-0 with 10 men.
Yes, Starbridge, of course, I believe did it on Tuesday night, didn't they? I think they were 1-0 down, I'm not sure, I can't remember. But Storer gets his first touch of the game, cuts inside. Ball forward doesn't get anywhere, but he plays it back to Roe Turner. Roe Turner's got nothing on. Punches it into Richards. Richards to Storer. Storer back to Richards. Back to Storer. That's good football from Kettering. And Storer still has the ball. Leaves it to Richards. Richards into Lyndon Meikle. Lyndon Meikle needs to go back out wide right. He does. Oh, and it's cut out. And there's a counter-attack for St Ives. And they're through here, are they? Luke Graham's the man next to Ben Baker. Ball crossed over. It's a poor ball from Ben Baker, and it's a goal kick for Kettering. But
there you get the story of the second half in one go, though. I think they'll wait for Kettering to commit a few players forward, as they have to do, and then look to hit them on the break. That was 3 against 3. That one was wasted, though, by Ben Baker, fortunately for Kettering. But you can pretty much tell that that's the way that this half is going to pan out, I think.
Paul White, big kick looking for Richards. Richards wins the header. Honus doesn't get there. Gary Storer gets there but allows it to roll for a throw-in. Throw-in to Meikle, back to Storer. Storer into Kelly. Kelly turns the ball around the corner to Luke Graham, who takes a touch. He starts to move forward, now lays out to Roe Turner. Roe Turner into Meikle. Meikle takes a touch. It's a little bit of a bobbly one. Doing really well, Lyndon Meikle. He's got to go back to Paul White, who takes a touch, waves his defenders away and says, no, just get forward now. This is where it's going to go. Long ball it is, won by the St Ives defender, then put up into the air. Roe Turner, good header. Richards will get there first. It's bounced off his nose, but something's better than nothing. Storer tries to put it down the line, and O'Connor's offside. He challenged the St Ives player, but from an offside position. So free kick is taken by the goalkeeper. Roe Turner wins the header, and it's gone up and not really away. That's a handball. That's a handball. That time it was spotted by the officials. Paul White's going to take this one. Kelly wanted it quickly, but Paul White has to do it. This is very much like this is last minute of the game. That's a great ball from Paul White. That's going to be a St Ives throw in. There's going to be a substitution for them as well. Number 3 is the one coming off. And 12 coming on. And the player's taken his time to make his way off the pitch. And Milne's coming on and Meikle's coming off, and he's not looking incredibly comfortable, Lyndon Meikle. Actually, oh no, I think he may have just been readjusting his shorts. It looked like he was holding his leg there, but Milne's is on. That's a decision that I'm sure Marcus has put on for something. And Meikle, of course, is a explosive attacking player. Lots of pace, lots of low centre of gravity balance. Meikle's Milne's is very much a methodical passer of the ball. It's two very different styles, isn't it, for players? And you would have thought, and then of course this is why the managers get paid the money they do, but you would have thought Meikle would have been the player that you really wanted. Oh, and Storer couldn't get there, that explosive, make something happen player. But you never know, Ben Milnes has come up with magic before.
Yeah, he has. It's fresh legs, and you know, we don't know for sure. There might be a little bit of a niggle that Meikle's got that has caused him to come off. You know, if he's a slight worry, then why take the risk? Throwing on the near side, and again the referee wants St Ives to speed things up a little bit, but as you can imagine, Ben Jackson is quite happy to take his time. And throws it forward. It breaks to Kelly on the edge of his box. Clears to Gary Storer on this near touchline. Played forward looking for Richards, but Sundia gets there first. Good flick from Seymour, shove to Snaith, and that will go for a Kettering goal kick. No, it goes for a corner. Yep, corner for St Ives.
Paul White not happy with that decision, but chance for St Ives. This is not the end of the pitch that Kettering want the ball.
No, but they need to defend this one better. And it's a long one actually that's gone out of Kettering's penalty box, hoisted in from the number 9, but Paul White deals with that one very comfortably.
Reece Honus, oh, he's done really well to get in front of the defender there. He did really, really well. So, Roe Turner to Storer. Storer, that's not a great ball to Roe Turner. That's a great challenge from Roe Turner, though. That's a really good challenge from Roe Turner. Graham now clips a ball to Ben Milnes, who's got his first touch of the afternoon. Lays it to Richards, sorry. Richards out to Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans clips a ball through. It's easily clipped away from St Ives, though, and they will counter-attack, and it's with Ben Baker on the far side. And Kelly Evans just has to put a foot on it and get it out for a throw-in.
Fine margins though when Kettering do get the ball in attacking positions like that. I mean, the quality of the delivery has to be better, especially when you're down to 10 men. You won't get that many opportunities to get decent balls into the box. That was one, and it was a poor ball. There was a much easier ball on for Aaron O'Connor in the channel, but Kelly Evans declined that option or didn't see that option, and St Ives it is. They get a throw in an attacking position now in Kettering's half.
Well, another throw in for St Ives. That cross has gone out of play for another throw in. New ball bowled onto the pitch. So St Ives have another throw in on that far side. Throwing seems to be taking an age to come into play. Oh, catch! That's another St Ives throw in. So there's not really much to commentate on. Apologies. I know we're on audio only, but there's really not a lot to say. The ball was out on the far side. It's finally come in now, but the ball was out on the far side for a throw-in, and it didn't come back in for a very, very long time.
It's taken about 45 seconds for St Ives to make every throw-in at the moment, and the referee's letting him get away with it.
Oh, it's a good touch from Rhys Honus. Rhys Honus bursting through. Oh, he's gone down. Referee says no.
That should be a yellow card for Rhys Honus, in my opinion.
Honus livid with the referee.
Didn't see that one, Ed. I think I didn't see a penalty at all there. I thought that.
No, it looked like
I
the
thought
ball
that
had
was a
got away
dive.
from him.
I have to be honest. I have to be honest. I thought that
don't
was
know whether
a
it's
dive.
a dive. There's certainly some contact. Whether it was whether it was enough. It was a case of there was not enough contact to go down. But the ball had certainly run away from Rhys Honus, and I think he's giving it against Kettering. Taken quickly to Gary Storer. Storer to Roturner. Roturner across the line to Luke Graham. Luke Graham's not really got any option. Plays it into Milnes. Milnes takes a touch out to Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans back to Luke Graham. Luke Graham puts it long. Brought down by Honus. Oh, it's just bobbled up and away from Aaron O'Connor, but here comes Michael Richins. It's a good ball through. Milnes fighting. Richins gets there, fighting again, and come away with it, St Ives. And Gary Storer's putting some pressure on. The ball gets lofted forward. Graham nods it towards Roturner. Roturner, he looked a little bit nervy there, but he's done very, very well to sell the St Ives attacker. Storer comes forward. He slips over, gets back up, and then plays a lofted switch ball, but poor, nowhere near. Kelly Evans and St Ives come forward again. Good challenge that from Kelly Evans, and it's another St Ives throw-in. Just waiting for the throw-in to come back in again. Still waiting for the throw-in to come in again. Kettering have got a throw-in this time from that one. Kelly Evans to take it. He's got, again, no real options to look for. It's cleared back again. Headed away by Luke Graham. Kelly Evans keeps it on. St Ives come away with the ball again. That's good footwork from the St Ives man. Still going, St Ives. Ball put forward. That's a Kettering throw-in, but it's by their own corner flag on the far side. Not really a lot to report on here from a Kettering point of view. Ben Milnes has it. Plays it out to Gary Storer. Gary Storer into O'Connor. O'Connor's fouled. O'Connor's fouled. O'Connor's fouled. Referee's not giving it. O'Connor was absolutely clattered there. Oh, and Roturner eventually wins a throw-in. Kelly now back to Paul White. Paul White back to Luke Graham. Luke Graham in the centre. Ben Milnes. Ben Milnes plays a speculative ball through, cut out simply, although that pass is poor and Richins can't get there, but his midfield partner Milnes is. Now it's Storer on the left-hand side. Storer back to Milnes. Milnes tries to go down the line. He's got a throw-in from it though. Taken quickly to Marcus Kelly, who takes a touch. Lofts it into Storer, a little bit higher than I think he would have liked there, Gary Storer. Lays it to... So that's Luke Graham, and the ball forward. Near. No Kettering player. And a throw-in it is.
Just not passing the ball
And it's
well enough at the moment. It's difficult, I know, with 10 men, but if you're not picking out your passes, you're making it very hard for yourselves. Trying to win the ball back again. And
ball's back in play.
St Ives are... Oh, we've got a substitution for St Ives. and it's Seymour Shove, the delightfully named Seymour Shove.
It is a good name.
It is a good name. He's coming off.
He's going to shake the hand of everyone
referee's
on his way off
as well, and he'll make a very slow jog off. And we've got number 15 coming on, Ty Ward. As soon as Seymour Shove reaches the touchline, which he has finally done so. But St Ives are, managing this game out reasonably comfortably. Kettering have had no shout at goal. To be fair, neither have St Ives, but that won't bother St Ives when they're 3-0 up. And they're not committing men forward. They're going to hit Kettering on the break if they can, but they're not conceded any territory in a dangerous area so far. And it's up to Kettering to try and pass the ball better and unlock the defence. And so far there's no indication, unfortunately, in this half that will happen.
Yep. Substitution this time going to be made for Kettering.
Ben Toseland
Toseland on. And Luke Graham off. Now this is an interesting formation change. We've now got a Richards, I think, is dropping into centre half by the looks of things. Storer's going into the centre, and Toseland will be coming out onto the left. So, where's the ball? It's a goal kick, isn't it? Their end. Turner wins the header to the 15 for St Ives. Storer gets a toe in there, but St Ives bring it away. Clipped forward. Turner misses it, but it may run all the way through anyway. It's been kept on for a Kettering throw-in. Toseland wants to take it quick, but there's no one on for him. Plays to Ben Milnes. Ben Milnes back to Toseland, back to Milnes. Milnes into Marcus Kelly. Kelly to Richards. Richards to Kelly Evans on the far side. Kelly Evans plays the ball down, not enough on it. It's been cut out. Storers pushing, shoving. All the way back to Paul White again, who bowls it out in front of him to kick. Kicks long again. That's too far for O'Connor. Look for a second ball, but it's not there. They get there on the third attempt though. Kelly has got no one with him apart from Toseland to his left, who gets the ball, slows it down, but now drives forward. Still driving. Toseland puts the ball in. It's cut out in the near post by Sundyer. Toseland takes it quickly back to Marcus Kelly. Kelly takes a touch onto his thigh, then down onto his feet. He's got nothing on. He has to go back to Turner. Turner across the line to Richards. Oh, and that's been cut out by Sundyer. Cut out again by Richards. No, it hasn't been cut out. Sundyer still gets there. Out towards the far side for Baker. Baker goes past Richards, still going. Paul White comes out, collects, begging for an option, and he's got nothing on, so he's going to go long. He's gone right high into the dark sky of Kettering. And, well, the cheer as if there was a goal from the Tin Hat end as the referee gives a free kick Kettering's way. So, goal may reignite some hope in the eyes of Kettering here, but they've got to get it. Clipped in, flicked on, bouncing around, handball, all cleared away. Toseland picks it up, tries to get it back onto his left foot, slips over, and the ball's cleared away. And it's just gone over O'Turner as well, which has allowed St Ives to regroup everyone back. Storer, that's a cutout. That's Paul White. Paul White to Marcus Kelly.
Bad news, Ed. Stourbridge have scored twice since we gave the result out, or the score out last, so they are closing in. It's official.
Storer, ball through's nowhere near Rhys Honus, and it's straight through to the goalkeeper.
So at the moment, we'd still be top on goal difference only. Yes, 2 games in hand from Stourbridge. So tightening up at the top, and you have to say, I think we can say this is the first wobble of the season for Kettering. After conceding 4 goals on Tuesday and another 3 today, and it's looking highly unlikely we're going to get anything out of the game today. So there is still work to be done, obviously, for Kettering and the management team to correct a few things at the back in particular, but still plenty of football to be played before even Christmas. Oh, yellow card coming up for time wasting. Finally, for St Ives.
The length of time that the referee is taking to book him is contributing to the slowing down of the game.
Yeah, you can only hope he's going to add some time on for it, but well, that remains to be seen.
Taken short. Still got it, St Ives. Ball goes in. Paul White collects it. Bowls out to his left, where Rhys Honus picks up the ball. Back to Toseland. Toseland hits long. Storer's going to be there. It's headed by Sundyer, brought down by Ben Mills. That's a foul. That's a foul. That is a foul. Thank you, referee. He gets there eventually after deliberating and making up his mind. But it was a... it's going to be booked as well. The number 8 is going to be booked for kicking the ball away as well.
Number 9, Snaith, first goal scorer, kicking the ball away. That was a silly one.
Well, this is a chance for Ben Mills to get a goal.
Yeah,
it's a free kick.
He's going to like the angle. It's on the left-hand side.
How many times
penalty box
has he scored a free kick from this position? Many is the answer.
About,
lots.
He's about 5 yards or so outside the penalty box.
Yeah, Ben Toseland's there if he wanted to just dink it down the line and get a shot in, but the referee...
Not going to happen. He's going to shoot.
No, he's going to shoot.
He's definitely going to shoot.
I tell you what, there's absolutely no... Now they've gone and spotted it. So it is going to be a shot. There's a goalkeeper showing Ben Mills a lot of space. It's hit the wall.
Poor free kick by Ben standards.
But that's not a bad lofted ball back in. It's going to be a foul against Storer.
Nudging the back, unfortunately, and Gary Storer, but yeah, Ben Mills got to get the ball up better than that. I think it caught the St Ives defender in the chest, so nowhere near the height needed to clear the wall, and St Ives will make a further change, and it's going to be Danny Kelly, number 10.
Any chance that he's the man on the far side of the pitch?
Of course, he'll be as far away as possible. He would have been told he's coming off. Of
course, he's not been booked. You do have the added scenario that a player that has been booked, if they time waste whilst coming off, the substitution then can't be made if they get booked again. But he's one of those who's not on a yellow card.
George Bailey coming on for the final change. St Ives.
Don't know how long's left. There can't be a lot. 10 to go. Oh dear. 4 goals in 10 minutes. With 10 men. Oh, ye of little faith.
Only takes a minute to score a goal, but
doesn't even take that.
I think
takes a few seconds to score a goal, and we've got many of them.
Even Mr. Clough wouldn't have been predicting 4 goals in 10 minutes. It's been a fairly pedestrian second half, as you probably expect, because St Ives don't need to take the game to us. Kettering with their 10 men have not been good enough to unlock the St Ives defence or midfield area, to be honest. So it's been a bit of a boring stalemate in the second half.
Goal kick for Paul White, got nothing on. And Tyson wins a header, that's a handball. Referee says no. So Kettering throw in then at least. Tyson takes a throw into O'Connor. Milnes bursting forward. Still Ben Milnes. Oh, it's just too far for Storer. And punted out for a throw in for Kettering. Taken quickly to Milnes. Milnes takes it on the chest. Oh my word. And that's a poor touch from him. So it's looking like Kettering are going to be top on everything but goal difference in the next 10 minutes or so.
I know the old adage that you know, we've still got 2 games in hand, and if you'd have taken, you know, we'd have taken that at the start of the season, of course. But as I say, this is the first wobble for Kettering. 2 poor performances. They got a point in the first. They're not going to get anything out of this game this afternoon. And yeah, it's time for Marcus and his team to G them up, get them ready again for the next league game on Saturday. And of course, you've got the League Cup game on Tuesday night as well, where he might want to try a few different things.
As O'Connor goes through, he's been penned over though. He's not really got any options. He has to go all the way back to Richards, who takes a touch. Ball goes in. Oh, it's missed by everyone, and it's been kept in by Honus well. Honus puts the ball in, deflection, cleared out. Roturner takes a touch into Milnes. He's got a lot of space, turns, shoots. It's tame, so tame. O'Connor looks at him and says, I was just here. But away go. It's a goal. Well, it's kicked by the goalkeeper anyway. And Tosland gets a throw in for his troubles. And St Ives come forward again, clip the ball forward, headed away by Roturner, flicked on by Kelly, not really convincingly, and then Storer gets the ball away to Tosland. Tosland plays it into Gary Storer. Gary Storer breaks forward, plays it out to Reese Honus. He's got a little bit of space and time to work with. Turns back onto his right foot, as we see him do often. Now to Tosland. Tosland takes a touch. He needs to get the ball going somewhere though, Tosland. And it's not in that corner, and then not to a St Ives player either. Now we are Kettering throw in. Taken back to Paul White. Paul White hits long. That's too long, far too long. As it goes up for a throw in.
I think it's fair to say that the second half of the highlights package won't be very long, Ed.
Yeah.
But that's the nature of the beast. All down to what happened in the first half this afternoon. It's not been an attractive game of a football, but that's probably understandable, as I say. St Ives very content just to concede possession when they have to, but keep men behind the ball, and Kettering haven't looked likely, apart from the odd free kick and the odd cross. Looked likely to reduce the arrears this afternoon. And I think Kettering Town are going to get another card, a yellow card. Roturner arguing with the referee. I think they tried to take it too quickly in the wrong position. And And as a result of that, Turner is going to take a yellow card. Just to compound the misery, an early card. It's not a Christmas card, it's a yellow one.
Oh, for goodness sake! Referee! He's an attention-seeking little wanker, isn't he, Lino?
More frustrations at the referee, who's still not happy for Kettering to take the free kick. Finally we can. Ball clipped forward by Turner to Aaron O'Connor, lays it off to Rhys Hernus on the edge, plays it back to Tosler, Tosler with a cross in, cleared from St Ives Parker. Back to Gary Storer though. Kettering still in possession. Richards playing it forward, trying to find Aaron O'Connor, but the ball is too long. Skips through over the
9 to go apparently.
touchline, and
We got told 10 minutes to go about
goal kick
20
to St Ives.
Well, Ives just said about 9 to go. Well, we got told 10 minutes ago about 15.
I think time's stood still now.
Oh, is that?
It's one of these purgatory moments where
Okay.
you have to relive the back end of a poor second half of football.
Well, O'Connor's
But,
through on the
Kettering
right
still
hand
trying,
side.
at least Aaron O'Connor.
Puts the ball through
Trying
his
to get a
corner.
crossing. Yep.
Kettering have a
it's corner.
chance to do something with it. Let's see whether the referee will allow Kettering to take this corner or whether he'll delay the game for another 2.5 minutes.
Well, they
whilst he
can't take
speaks
it from
to
the wrong
people.
place, that's for sure, Ed.
Oh, believe me, you can. Corner goes in, headed away front post. Oh, great corner that, really. Kelly Evans has it. Storer. He's blazed the ball over anyway, but the referee has spotted a foul. Turner's given man of the match.
I think that would be a hard choice for anybody today, to be honest, in terms of trying to find a Kettering Town man of the match. Yeah, I think it's probably one of those games where you decline to award it, to be honest. There's nobody that's really stood out. There's been a bit of endeavour, but I suppose Turner's deserving as anybody else, but that's not saying a lot. Marcus Kelly trying to bring the ball forward on his left foot, but again forced to retreat. Plays it back to Kelly Evans, who'll switch it across to Michael Richards, in turn to Nathaniel Turner. And the ball's gone long, searching for Rhys Hernus, but cut out. Sundir completes the clearance. But Ben Tosler nips in to win the ball back for Kettering. Gary Storer in the centre, but he's dispossessed by St Ives Parker, running forward, trying to find Ben Baker on the far side, but Michael Richards intercedes, plays the ball long. And Peter Short has joined me on the gantry for the last few minutes.
To cheer everybody up.
You got to cheer everybody up. Well, we
no
need
idea
it.
how. I thought I'd get up here and see what happened the second I got up here.
I think Ed must have gone downstairs to put his head in his hands.
Ed looks distinctly suicidal. Paul Cookie is, as I say, near the heater downstairs.
Good mood, Cookie.
Yeah, just not a lot of good you can say right now. I mean, I overheard you say this second half of the highlights package lasts about 2 minutes, really, shouldn't it? Really?
I think so. I think so. I think it's all happened in the first half today. All the talking points, all the incidents that's happened in the first half. Penalty shouts that were not given for Kettering. The red card that wasn't on Dan Holman.
Can we say that?
Sorry?
Can we say that?
Well, it shouldn't have been. Let's put it that way. It was a red card, obviously, because he went off. But Ty Ward looking to add the fourth for St Ives, but his shot flashes just wide of Paul White's post. But yeah, I think we can be honest with our opinions. I didn't think it was a red card at the time, and although I haven't seen the replay, I think everybody else was downstairs and they said it wasn't. It definitely wasn't a red card. So hopefully Mr. Griffin can appeal that.
I'm sure he will. He's a very busy man at the moment, is Mr. Griffin. And well, with another errant ball flies away there. You're just looking suddenly what Kettering reserves have at the moment, really. You know, coming off the bench, you'd have thought the likes of Ben Mills and Gary Storer coming off the bench could produce something, but it's just absolutely nothing. Abject today, really. I mean, last Tuesday was an anomaly. This is an anomaly. This is just truly shocking.
Yeah, I said at the beginning of the game, Peter, that you know, the question was Tuesday night a blip, and the answer was answered in the first half that no, clearly it wasn't from the defensive point of view. And yeah, it's the first wobble really for Kettering.
It's a point I've made several times now. Kettering just aren't streetwise, I don't think. I think they allowed the first goal and the first decision going against them, and the Reece Honus penalty that wasn't. You know, they've let that get to them, and I think, you know, we've all asked, have they been complacent, just walking onto the pitch expecting to beat a 17th side? Well, you know, I'm afraid the evidence is all here that maybe there is a slight air about it.
I disagree somewhat. I think we started reasonably well, and the tempo was pretty good. We just couldn't break St Ives down. I think where we've come unstuck is we've conceded 2 very poor goals, which makes it very, very difficult then for Kettering. You know, St Ives have got something to defend, which they've defended very solidly throughout the game.
Yeah, let's make that a good point actually. The St Ives, all credits, have actually been excellent. You know, they've hurried Kettering constantly. There's been a body in the way everywhere, and the defence has been superb. And very rarely have Kettering been able to get anywhere near the final third. And Dan Holman was the only creative player really having any joy. And well, it's just showed in the second half. We're missing him so much.
Yeah, we are missing him, and it's been very tough for Kettering. We could end up drawing the half 0-0, but
mini wins.
Moral victory that, but that's not going to really help when it comes to the appraisal of the game as a whole. And I'm sure Marcus will have plenty to say after the game, and hopefully we'll hear from him down in the studio, see what his thoughts are with some of the decisions today. But you know, the key question for me, it'll be well, how are you going to raise the how are you going to raise the team? And what needs to be done to get back on track?
Another one. Well, as Ben Mills is about to receive a yellow card for what we thought was an innocuous challenge, really. Stupid though, is at the same time.
Stupid one.
Yeah.
Clear trip, petty. Yeah, the referee got that.
The foul of
right.
a side that's losing 3-0, really, if we're honest. You know, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that.
It's frustration,
absolutely.
You can just see with Kettering.
And it's a new feeling for the Kettering players, and
it is.
You know, this is hopefully something they will learn from. But when will they learn from it? I mean, I'm just looking to my left now. Look at the crowd. They've left. They've come. Very few people here have not actually heard the official attendance yet.
No, the attendance wasn't great today. It's been a bit of a cold, blowy, wet afternoon, but yeah, they certainly they haven't got the drama that they did on Tuesday night. That's for sure. It's been a very flat.
Oh, there's been drama, all right. Just 3 goals against Kettering. Anyway, Kettering come away with an attack here. Can they form something? Ben Tozen on this left-hand side here takes the ball to the corner flag, puts the first-time cross in, but it's nowhere near getting anywhere close to a Kettering shirt, and it's cleared away here, right in front of us here, in front of the dugout. St Ives will try and come away with it. They've retained the ball so well, and again another petty tackle there from Roe Turner, who has to be careful now on that yellow card. But they are rolling around like they're being shot every time, St Ives players. And as I say, this is where Kettering just needs to be a bit more streetwise, and don't let this frustration overspill, because you know we may be able to appeal 1 red card, but I think a second one could be quite difficult.
Well, you can't appeal 2 yellows, so yeah, you do. You definitely need to be on your guard. We've got 4 minutes of extra time, or is it 5 minutes? The board is going to be going up in a moment, so.
Roe Turner there, nodding the ball away, finds Gary Storer, and there's a strong tackle coming in here from the first goal scorer. The board now comes, it's 5 minutes actually, as the St Ives keeper has come flying out there and had to make some invasive action there.
There's no cheer went up from the Kettering fans in anticipation of a comeback in the last 5 minutes.
The same 5 minutes that allowed Redditch to score, of course, on Tuesday night. Kettering done a miracle. They needed a miracle at 45 minutes, so with 5 minutes to go, it's certainly not going to happen, is it? But they're still huffing and puffing, Kettering. Can they at least get away with something? They can't, though. Aaron O'Connor, who's been a bit of a been watching the game, I think, today, if I'm a bit honest. Can't get hold of the ball there, and Roe Turner now with the ball right in front of us again, but again, another errant pass, can't find Storer, and they'll come away with it against St Ives in the former Ty Ward, who's had a couple of shots on goal himself in the second half. Michael Richards doing the defensive duties, clears it, and the ball finds kindly for Gary Storer on this near side. Taking 4 or 5 paces forward, quick ball on his right foot there, takes it back down again, he's got a second chance here. Oh, but again, it's too slow with it, and again, the ball comes away with Ty Ward and St Ives. Well, they just nullified Kettering's every attack so far. They've just been so resolute. Roe Turner sees this ball out here in front of us. Kettering winning themselves a throw-in. Michael Richards takes it to the centre circle now. Still 3-0 here, I'm afraid, Lassman Park. If you turned on, expecting some good news, there isn't any, I'm afraid. Although Kettering gets the ball to the byline, has to be turned away there for a throw-in. And that's probably the best move Kettering have had for a good 5 or 6 minutes. Bit of pace there. And, well, the pace which did Kettering on Tuesday night, which Redditch performed, they were trying to do it themselves there, Kettering. Again, quick play. They've quickly taken throw-in. Ben Mills tries to find Aaron O'Connor on the penalty spot. Can't do so, but Kettering retain the ball in their own half. Ben Mills again in the centre, and again so slow with the ball, and it does finally fall to the feet of Ben Toseland. But the Poppies here, as I say, they're just so languid in their approach here. Gary Storer though on his left foot, then his right, spins, can't do it though, or too much. He had 4 orange shirts around him there and trying to do it all on his own there. And now St Ives breaking forward with 2-3 with them, although catching a 5 men back themselves, so they should see this out. They do so, and it's a strong challenge over there. I think that's Richards, isn't it? And here's the attendance. 653 the attendance. Well, a few more than I would have thought, really.
Yeah, it's a few more than probably expected on the table as well. People coming in, but you know, 653, not bad. Could do with a few more, but
you'd hope so. After the entertainment that have been served up, and for a side that's top of the table,
yeah,
it's so disappointing. And we can't always blame the weather.
No, you can't. No, I totally agree. I think you know, the town's crying out for another another 653 to come along. To be honest, but you have to say today's performance won't help the casuals, as it were, the occasional fans. It hasn't been good at all today from the Poppies, but for most of the season it certainly has.
Reese Honus coming over the ball, and tackled on the edge of the penalty box, and Ives wins, catching a throw in. And we really must be now in the last throws now. A couple of minutes to go of the stoppage time. 5 minutes of it. Elsewhere, Stourbridge still winning 2-1. Richmond Diamonds winning 3-1. Kettering into the box, and there's a penalty given. My words. Well, you know what? You'd have got good money for that. Aaron O'Connor going down there. And, well, there's not many people here to see this penalty being taken, and it will mean nothing towards the final result.
Who's taking it?
Who is taking? And this is the interesting thing, because it looks like Ben Mills.
Looks like Ben Mills.
Reese Honus obviously missing his last 2.
Yeah.
Could we discover a new penalty taker? But this is... I don't even think this will be consolation, will it? As St Ives keeper there has offered a piece of advice from his own defender. So what can Martin Conway do here? Ben Mills, set to the mark, and over the bar. He's Chris Waddled that one. 1990 all over again. And well, if you wanted Kettering's afternoon being summed up in one little moment, there it was. Absolutely atrocious penalties. He's leant back, put all his laces behind it, and well, there we go. Still 3-0 to St Ives.
That sums it up quite nicely, Peter. Yeah, that was the highlight of the half. It turned out to be the lowest low light of the half, as far as Kettering was concerned. And yes, Brett Sulkin not on the field. I know he missed his last penalty, but
that's it now. So the stats now suddenly read Kettering's last 4 penalties a bit we missed. So after what was a wonderful record, has now just been completely obliterated, and well, that's been put to bed. Anyway, St Ives now, can they come away with 4 from add a bit of gloss to this performance already? They can't. The ball is run out to the byline. A little bit of afters there, and oh my word, what is going on here? There's absolutely no need for these shoves. And again, this is where the frustrations just need to be tempered now. Kettering have already had a woeful day. Don't make it worse by picking up an unnecessary yellow. They're not going to. They just had a bit of a stern talking to by the man in black. And Paul White will be allowed to take this goal kick, which surely now must be the last kick of the game. It is indeed. And there we go, from Lassmer Park. Not good news, I'm afraid, if you're of the Poppies persuasion. It is finished. Kettering Town 0, St Ives 3. Gareth, I want to ask you to sum up, but I think you might have done for the last half an hour because nothing happened in that second half.
Yeah. As I say, everything happened in the first half. Penalty shouts at Kettering not given, and the sending off that was, well, I think that was just the wrong decision. We'll leave it at that. Second half, non-entity. We get a penalty at the end. It's blazed over the bar. That's the second half in a nutshell. But it's all about how we turn this around. We've had a bit of a blip. Turned into a little bit of a wobble today. We've got a game on Tuesday against Barwell here, where Marcus might want to try something a little bit different formation, different players, just to shake things up again. And then we go again on Saturday at home as well to Lowestoft. So plenty of football still to come here at Latimer Park, and let's hope we can keep the faith.
That's the plan, exactly. As you say, plenty of work for Marcus Law and his men to do, and I'm sure Paul Cook and Eden Palmer-Smith will talk about that for the next 15-20 minutes, and hopefully we can have someone from the management team, especially Marcus Law. Would be lovely to hear what his thoughts of that are. But thank you for joining us on Poppy's Audio today, and we'll throw you back down to Cookie and Ed.
Well, huge disappointment for Poppy's fans as the bubble bursts, as Kettering lose 3-0 at home to St Ives. At a certain time in that first half, I felt like shouting, "I'm a celebrity, get me out of here." It was that rough, wasn't it, Ed Palmer? Disappointment all the way round.
Yeah, I mean, it's two poor goals and a wonder goal, really. But you know, you don't want to look at certain decisions that were made, but we're going to have to look at them because there are two very blatant penalty shouts in the first half at big moments that weren't given. Although judging by the way that penalty was taken, it probably wouldn't have made any difference anyway. And then the decision to send off Dan Holman, which is bizarre. I mean, we've showed everyone we can find that, and it's barely even a foul. I mean, it's probably a yellow card at worst.
I said at half-time that it was probably a yellow card, but very harsh indeed on Holman. Although we were 3-0 down at the time, but there's the incident.
Sorry, it's not a red card at all. Well, absolutely no one has expected a red card there. It's gone through. Look, St Ives players aren't even claiming it. They're backing off. They're backing off ready to defend an attack going forward. No, it's not a red card. It's a dreadful decision. And the referee was poor all game. He made a habit of making things very much about him.
At half-time, we discussed the third goal quite in depth. It was a case where Luke Graham had been brought down prior to this fantastic free kick. Can't deny it's a brilliant free kick. But prior to that, Luke Graham had been brought down off the ball there, and the referee ignored it, and Berry then fouled and cost the free kick. Should that have been brought back?
Well, yeah. That's not even a question. It is. I mean, yet again, we've got a situation where both a referee and a linesman have completely missed the bleeding obvious. And you can't blame Berry for it. He's had to make that challenge, because if not, he's one-on-one with the keeper. And although the ball still went in, he's not to know that. We've got a better chance defending a free kick than you have a one-on-one.
But the player went for it. You can see that he almost lurched forward. I'm not saying that but he looked there, and he goes down like a dose of salt.
Oh yeah, it's a free kick. It's a free kick. It's a yellow card as well. But yeah, I mean, again, you see Luke Gray. He's been dragged to the floor. And you've got you've got a handball shout in the first half, which I know will disagree with it. The players stopped the ball with his hands.
Peter Short does have that on photograph, where the second one especially just show that the handball there.
He's moved his hands towards the ball.
He's almost stopped it with his arm, hasn't he?
He's caught it. He's stopped the. It's just a penalty. It's just a penalty. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming more blatant than if you actually caught it and popped it around like, there it is.
It's so bad. This referee was shocking. I'm sorry. But yes, there were 2 goals that were horrendous and there was a 1 great goal. But this referee has got... there were some decisions a few weeks, in the past couple of weeks, that have been poor. Essentially, Stourbridge was dreadful for decisions, and Redditch wasn't great either. But this referee has seriously got some explaining to do, and I know Marcus will be asking him to explain it as well, because the management team will see those decisions. They'll see it, and they will rightly ask the referee, why has the penalty not been given? And I know we haven't got it, but there was a bit as well where Rhys Honus was fouled after nicking the ball first, and then was tripped over and onto the ground in the first half as well. That wasn't given. That wasn't even given a second thought by the referee.
Well, hopefully Marcus Law will come in and discuss what happened this afternoon. I'm sure he won't be here for a little while, if at all, but hopefully he will with one of the players. I'm sure the riot act is being written. We can see 2 of the 3 goals. We haven't got the first one, although we'll be on our highlights package. But again, poor defending from Kettering.
It is. It's a good header initially by Kelly Evans, but no one's helping him. And yeah, I mean, he is unmarked. He's a big player as well. You can't miss him. But again, yeah, you see Roe Turner's come in at the last second to try and challenge with him. But whose man was it?
Exactly.
Whose man was that? Because if it's Roe Turner's, he's run about 15 yards to catch up to him. And if it's someone else's, then why aren't they getting him?
That's 9 goals in the last 3 home games in the league that Kettering have conceded. It reminds me of a couple of seasons ago.
Yes.
Yep, 4-3 and 2. Well, that's about 9, isn't it?
Yes.
My basic maths did work that one out. I think you're right there. But yeah, I mean, considering that Kettering have had such a fantastic defensive record, it seems to have gone. Well, awry is one of the words I can use on air. The other ones I can't. But what has happened?
I don't know. I don't like the changes that were made from the Redditch game. I know we had to make some defensive changes from that, but really the defensive changes we needed to make were formational rather than personnel. Declan Towers was on the bench. I don't know whether he was actually fit to play, because he walked out the first half with a big jacket and trackies on, whereas all the other substitutes had their shorts and what have you on. So I don't know whether he was ever going to be fit to play. But I don't understand. We've got 2 really good left backs, one natural and one who can play there. And Roe Turner, and a game where we've got big players coming at us, Roe Turner needed to be more central. He needed to be directly challenging the players of St Ives. He shouldn't. It's a strange one, because we've seen Berry come forward and come central, and he's done very well, Darrell Berry, but he's not the tallest of players. And St Ives have got some big players going forward. That's when you needed Roe Turner to be there, and then maybe we say a Ben Toseland or a Gary Storer on the left.
But it's credit again, though, to St Ives Town. They've come here, they've done a job. Their game plan worked. The first goal was created by Ben Baker, ex-Kettering Town, who got the ball over to Snaith, who dispatched it quite in similar fashion to the first goal that Redditch United scored against Kettering on Tuesday night. It was made 2-0, as you saw there, and the third goal was an absolute peach of a free kick.
It's a really good free kick. It is good. You can't blame anyone really for that. Paul White stood and watched it. It's a difficult one for him. He'll feel disappointed with that, Paul White. I think no one's going to blame him, but he personally will feel disappointed with that, because he's started making the movement over, and he's misjudged it essentially. He is getting there, but he's stopped, and he thought it's dipped dipped a lot.
When that was live, I was watching it from the gantry. I thought he'd put it over the bar, and then suddenly I saw the net bulging, and it was in the net, and that was 3-0, and virtually it was game over. Then we had the Holman incident, which we've seen, where he was sent off, and that brought Kettering down to 10 men, and then it was really digging in the trenches, and Kettering did that in the second half. They didn't really create too much, although they had a penalty that was missed once again. That's the last 3 penalties Kettering have missed in all competitions. Not good indeed after the success of the first 12. But it must be a worry for Marcus Law now. That's 3 people that have missed penalties: Milne, Salkin and Honus. And with the results the way they went, Biggleswade 4, Alvechurch 2, Leaston 1, Rushden and Diamonds 3, Royston 2, Needham Market 4. And latest score was St Neots 1, Stourbridge 2. If those results remain the same, Kettering will still be on top of the league, albeit on goal difference on 38 points.
Yeah, not great. Not great when you've had the chance to be 5 points clear going into this game, and you've ended this game after the past 2 being level with people. It's poor. It is poor. And, you know, fair enough, us and Stourbridge have still got 9 points on 3rd place, but this is not a division where 2 automatically go up.
Also, it brings into play now Kings Lynn and I think Biggleswade now are going to be in that 25, 26 position as well, so they're sneaking around as well. The surprise one, though, is FC Rushden and Diamonds. They're on 18. They've played 2 more than Kettering, but they're hanging around now. They're on 29 points. They'll feel that they've got a chance. It's quite a remarkable rise for them.
Yeah, still 9 points between us, though.
Still 9 points, thankfully. Let's hope that does increase, but we can't have them getting the bragging rights. But certainly Kettering not nothing to brag about at the moment, and it is going to be a tough game here on Saturday against the Lowestoft Town now, a game that you might take for granted. It seems strange that the games against Royston and Stourbridge, Kettering acquitted themselves really well. They played really well in both of those games, came out with the points, but in games against Redditch United and the game they get today against St Ives Town, games where you think they should actually win the game, they've actually been quite poor.
Yeah, and you see, at least with the Redditch game, we had something attacking wise to look forward to, and you know, there was 4 goals scored, 4 goals conceded, but there was the positive. You'd be very hard pressed to find positives in today's game.
Also, that means that Dan Holman, it's a straight red card. That's 3-game ban, isn't it? He's going to miss, I think, Barwell, Lowestoft and Banbury, depending if the Barwell fixture comes in time.
Hopefully it does.
Hopefully it does. That means he'll miss Lowestoft and Banbury United away. He could be back just before Christmas against Hitchin Town. But if not, that game is also going to be under suspicion. Unless, of course, Kettering appeal. But, I think there's a good case there for Kettering to appeal for that.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea, actually. You know, we've got the footage which we can send off. There's very few people who think it's a red card, but we'll
very rare that
you don't get
overturned in non-league football. Quite a few that.
So it's like this VAR stuff, isn't it? It's got to be clear and obvious mistake.
Yeah,
I think it fits both there, and I think the referee's made a few clear and obvious mistakes today.
Don't think there was an assessor here today, but what they do, I do not know anyway. But there we go. We're back here on Tuesday night against Barwell in the League Cup 3rd round, and then back here on Saturday, the 8th of December against Lowestoft Town, which now becomes quite a crucial game indeed, where Kettering were not running away with the league, but they certainly were in a very good position. It's the 2nd home defeat of the season. I can't remember, without looking back at my records, the last time Kettering failed to score a goal at home, but it was today. And the first time since that League Cup victory, that the FA Trophy victory that St Ives have won down here as well.
It's the first time Kettering have failed to score a goal this season.
Yes, in the league, yeah. No, Tamworth away 0-0, wasn't it?
Oh yes, it was. Sorry.
So certainly at home, that is the way that it goes, and it is a disappointment all round. I thought that after Tuesday night, where some of the frailties were exposed, they would work on that. But certainly in that first half, once again, it was quite evident that they were struggling with these set pieces, and it does become a sort of issue, really, Ed, where teams were looking at these last 2 games and thinking, right, if they can do it, so can we.
Yeah, just get free kicks and corners, and you'll start seeing the results from them. If Kettering don't start to work out what's going wrong with them, and maybe work on their marking and their positional play a little bit more. I don't think we've got anyone coming over yet, so we'll carry on for the time being. Today and Tuesday were poor, really poor. This is probably the worst performance I've seen from a Kettering Town side for a very long time, since probably the playoff semi-final for Slough last season. It's certainly the worst performance this season.
Well, it doesn't look like that we're going to get anybody coming over to have a word with us, which is disappointing to say the least. I always like to have someone on here when we do lose games. It's okay when we win and everything's hunky-dory, but it's nice to get the opinions, etc. when we lose. We will try and get some interviews, though, later on. But it's back here, as I say, on Tuesday night in the League Cup third round. That's the City Security Services Limited Challenge Cup third round, and Kettering playing Barwell at home. They lost today 2-0 away at Hitchin, but Marcus Law's got some thinking to do now, not only in that game, what team does he put out, and also what team will he put out against Lowestoft Town here at Latimer Park. 653 were watching this game, about 50 of them from St Ives. They'll have gone home happy to Cambridgeshire. The other 600 will go and slash their wrists. The man of the match by our match sponsors was Nathaniel Rowe Turner, but it meant nothing really on that, as Kettering Town lost the game 3-0. So from Ed and myself, we'll be here on Tuesday night against Barwell. Let's hope next Saturday in the league we can bounce back. Bounce back ability, I think, now is the big word we need to encourage and get back in the winning streak, as the people behind us, Stourbridge in particular, have caught us up.
Yeah, I don't know whether there are any league games taking place on Tuesday, or whether it's just a bye week for anyone who's in the league, and anyone who's playing in the cup has a game. But could have done with Tuesday night being a league game, really, and get back to winning ways in the league as quickly as possible. But Kettering have to wait a week to do that, and it may very well be that Tuesday night is a sort of a friendly where Kettering are just going to try out different things and see if they can find out what the issue is.
Well, Fortress Rockingham Road, Latimer Park has been breached once again. That's the second time this season. That's enough from me and Ed and the team here at Poppies TV. We're back on Tuesday night. Good night. Don't dream about this one. I certainly won't, other than a nightmare. But there we go. It's all over here at Latimer Park. Good night.